Brandon is the printer.
Comix Wellspring.
And yeah, this is printed with Comix Wellspring. Came out beautiful.
High quality stuff. People think it's fantastic. All the books that you see at my table are through Comix Wellspring.
Looking for something, Betty? For relief, Mrs. Rollins, try this. Preparation H?
Pain, itching?
Sure, try this. Preparation
My
H.
nickname should be Preparation H because I really do. I think I have a whole. I have notes here. You know?
Feeling better today? Thanks to you in Preparation H.
Back in form, Bill?
Thanks to you in Preparation H.
On the mighty Mascots.
The fearless robot Boom found himself in dire straits after a bullet struck him during a fierce battle with Lana Lennon in issue 6. The impact compromised his targeting system, throwing his precision and control into disarray. Suddenly, a new threat emerged. With no time to waste, Boom makes the decision to have the bullet removed and take his chances with the glitch in his personality matrix. Boom's transformation has set the stage for an epic new chapter, and the story continues in Mighty Mascots issue 10. Issue 10 is a triple-sized anniversary extravaganza, featuring all new content by the same great creative team you know and love. Dive into a thrilling news story and enjoy 2 exciting backup tales by DC Miller and the Ogle brothers. Choose from 2 stunning alternate covers that capture the essence of this landmark issue, with artwork by Gazbot and Angry Dad Comics. Plus, we've got incredible new perks, including exclusive 3D printed Breakfast Brawler figures. There are 8 figures available in 4 sets. Buy them all to receive a bonus glow in the Dark Mondo figure. And that's not all. Catch up on back issues, grab limited collectibles, and immerse yourself in the Mighty Mascots universe like never before. Support the Mighty Mascots issue 10 on Indiegogo and be a part of this groundbreaking journey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Sartana the Comic, The Pond, and Surrounded by Death. And our third co-host, Harry G., graphic artist extraordinaire. What's going on?
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody? I feel like we just got to see each other over the weekend.
Yeah, dude.
I know. It's been so long.
I know.
It's cool
That's
when we have the
rarity,
show in person in terms of like all of us together in a room.
That's what I'm saying. It was a rarity that we were all together, all 3 of us at the show, like, you know, at a Comic-Con. It usually only happens a couple times a year, you know?
Well, I'll try to make it happen more often.
Yeah, right.
More. I should leave my house more often.
Well, you know what I liked about it? I liked when you got there, Harry, and all of a sudden the Ogles saw you and they were like, "Oh, what's up?"
Oh, I know. I felt like a very local celebrity.
Well, you are very much plugged into the comic community through Indie Comics Relay.
Yeah, dude.
I know, it's great. It's like I feel among like I'm among peers. You know, like I love being around other creative people and like rubbing elbows and like seeing what. Right, yeah, I love that. I miss it because I used to work at a creative job and now I don't. So it's good to be back in familiar territory, you know. It's great.
I love it because like once you get home, you know, from the cons, you're like you get more creative. Like you feel like I gotta do a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Even at the show, like talking to other creators, like PJ, him and I were talking about his Undisputed book, and he's like, I need an 8-pager on something. And just kind of like talking back and forth with him. Like, you know, at one point during the day, like everything was kind of quiet and he's got his head down doing something, you know, nobody was really coming by. And I was kind of flipping on my phone. And then like idea struck me. I was like, PJ, I've got your 8-pager. Mm-hmm. Pitched it to him. Nice. He's like, I think that's it. This morning, he sent me the draft outline.
Really?
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that. Just takes a few minds to get together in person, kick around a few ideas, and you can make magic happen.
Telling you, when I used to be with the Hero Envy guys, before we even filmed anything, we met up and got all our ideas down on paper together in a room before we even wrote a script, you know, so we knew everything, the beats, what was going on. And
well, I've always envied TV writing rooms because, you know, everybody has their individual assignments, but the upfront is very collaborative. So everybody kind of has their mission statement. They know what they're doing.
Right.
It's like a chapter of the larger season narrative, you know? Like,
it's like everybody knows the rules they have to abide by, but they could write their really awesome one episode.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I'd love to do that for indie comics at some point.
Oh,
we got to do more of that. You're right. Like I want to be in a smoky room with you guys, and like just like I'll take up smoking.
Take up smoking just to do that.
Just to do that. Roll up my sleeves, you know.
I like that aspect of it, you know, like and that's where quality comes from, because you're rooted in a lot of indie creators are living kind of in a silo, and that's not a bad thing. Most people have their own creative goals and outputs and their own kind of path that they're trying to forge. But sometimes when you can come together like the Avengers and you kick together an idea, something special can happen. Something special can come from that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look who we got in the chat. We got Ara with us. Good evening, all you awesome people. What's going on, Ara? Good to see you, buddy.
Ara, you're amazing, kid.
Amy saying greetings. Thanks for watching. Should be a fun show.
Amy,
I agree.
I seen you over the weekend.
He said, "Oh, sorry, I missed you guys at Haverhill Comic Con." Speaking of which, we cut a quick video, like a 2-minute video, while we were there. And Amy was gracious enough to put it together for me. And did you guys want to check it out? Like, I know we filmed it all together, you know, but
yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Check it out for everybody, and then we'll come back here and start setting up for the guest.
That's
all right. Here we go. This is our weekend at Haverhill Comic Con.
Hey, I'm Johnny C, and it's Indie Comics Relay, and we're here at the Haverhill Public Library for Haverhill Comic Con. I'm going to toss it right over to Keith.
That's right, everybody. We're here at Indie Comics Relay, representing at Haverhill Comic Con. Lots of great people here, lots of great vendors, great artists, great comics. And we got Harry with us. As you can see, he's he's engulfed in a comic book right now. So come on down. Great show. They do it every May. A lot of fun. And check out Indie Comics Relay.
And most importantly, free comics. Hey everybody, I'm Johnny C, and I'm whispering because I'm at Haverhill Public Library for Haverhill Comic Con. And I wanted to just share a little pro tip with you guys. In case you didn't know, you can actually get comics and graphic novels at your local library. So, little pro tip, if you have a library card, you can take out comics for free. So be sure to get a library card, consult your local library, and read some comics.
Wow, that was brilliant. And now I know.
It was so hard to whisper in a library.
Right.
So naturally loud.
Yeah, right.
What a great highlight video, though, right? Like
that is a good one.
That's
a
fun
show,
dude. It was very prosperous this year, which I wasn't expecting. When we first got there, I was a little worried because that first hour was a little rough. But then the people started pouring in, and it actually turned out to be a good day. Sold a lot of comics too, which is great. Like a lot of like there was a point where a guy had bought his daughter like one of the Mighty Mascots trades, but he had the second one, and I was like, "Oh, you may want to get this one because this is actually the first 3 issues." And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to take them both." And he just bought the second one there. I was
nice.
Like, God, this is great. You know, like
that's great. People are there supporting.
Yeah, it was really good. They're really happy with the turnout.
There are people who would normally go to a Comic-Con and people who wouldn't normally go to a Comic-Con. So for those who stumble upon it, it's a little extra special for them, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Let me zip through the chat real quick, and then we'll bring in our first guest for tonight. Ira said, "But I'm loving the Plastic City Comic-Con lineup. Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. One of our best lineups in a long time, especially having Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's huge.
That's a great guest.
Huge get, and the guy from the Secret Galaxy YouTube channel, Dan Larson. That's like a personal favorite channel of mine. I'm so happy he's coming down. You ever watch that channel, either of you guys?
I haven't. And that, when you said Secret Galaxy, my first reaction was Twin Galaxies, the video game score.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's a YouTube channel out of Manchester, New Hampshire, and they do really great deep dives into old shows and old cartoons.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Like they just did one on Sliders that I had to watch because I love that show.
Nice.
But they've done everything. Any show you can think of is on there.
I'll have to check it out. I wonder if they did one for Legend of the Seeker. That's one of my favorite deep cuts.
He might have. He's done some really crazy ones that you wouldn't expect. You know?
Maybe the Powers of Matthew Starr, is that on there?
That's yeah, I think it is. Actually. I know
that's
Otto
a Harry
Man.
deep cut.
Yeah.
I think Harry and 3 other Americans may have watched that show.
I love TV. Or Misfits of Science. That's a good one.
Oh,
yeah, that was on there. Yeah. That one's on there.
Young Courtney Cox.
Phoenix, I think, is on there.
Oh, Phoenix,
yeah, good stuff. Amy said, yeah, it was awesome. Some great guests at the show. And Ira said, that's why I watch ICR, to be plugged in. Look at that.
There you go.
Love that. Love that, man.
Well,
Love having
and that's
you
the
here.
thing about ICR is we promote ourselves, but we don't grandize ourselves. We like to spotlight the other creators out there.
Oh, we got Jess in the chat. Hey,
Jess.
Good to see you here.
I wonder if her eye healed up from getting punched.
She'll probably post in the chat about that. And Ara said he loves supporting indie comics. Of course, man. It's where it's at. It's where rock and roll's happening, man.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Awesome. So that catches up with the chat. So I see our guest is in the green room right now.
I love tonight's guest, by the way.
Oh,
always a favorite.
Anytime he comes on, it's an absolute pleasure.
We always vibe. I love this guy.
Oh, absolutely. So without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guests, our first guest before the roundtable. The roundtable will be starting probably around 9:15 or so. And then, but our first guest tonight is Brandon Bloxdorf from Comix Wellspring.
Hey,
what's up, pal? Good to see you, man.
How you guys doing?
What's up, man? Welcome back.
Good.
Yeah, welcome back, dude. I feel like
Thank you for having me.
I know, absolutely, man. Anytime. And we haven't talked to you really since IC3. So, like, what's been going on, dude?
It's crazy, like always, dude. Like it's always, I'm always just like in a whirlwind of just insanity going on.
You're the hardest working man in the business. Like you're always doing something. Like you're always like full of energy.
But that pays off though, because you look at what's going on with Comix Wellspring and with Apollo City Comics, man. You've got the hustle, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, it's wild, man. So I mean, since IC3 happened, we did the 1 week campaign with a dual anthology. Johnny, fill out your survey.
Okay, I'll get to that.
I just sent it yesterday. Don't even.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
cool,
yeah, take your time. This is being mean.
I thought I may have overlooked it. I was like, oh no.
No. I just sent them out. I realized. Check out the update. I'm super sorry, everybody. We forgot it's to update everybody on stuff, but everything's getting shipped this week. So here, there's a good update. You know what I mean? Like forgot to update, and it's a stoner anthology. What do you expect? So what happens?
You're just keeping on brand.
Yes, exactly. It's the perfect campaign to forget to do anything for. You know what I mean? Like totally explainable at that point. But we did Hyperforce. Hyperforce number 2 was great. That's going through some final edits during the letters right now, and then we're gonna send it off to the printer. And then we're doing CWS is doing a Kickstarter. It's insane. Now it's my day job, so anxiety's higher. It's a mess. It's crazy.
Well, we're definitely gonna look at that campaign after because I love the idea of this one. And I think needs definitely more eyes. Like I think it's like perfect for beginners, especially, you know.
I mean, It's crazy what panels is turning into, especially what it's turned into basically. Dan Hills had created this like idea for a book, and he even made a couple like versions of it. There's been 2 or 3 past versions of this book as like comic creators workbook for juniors and stuff like this. And what he was doing these workshops at like the Plymouth Museum in Plymouth, I guess, Michigan. I don't know. I don't live in Michigan.
Yeah,
And they're in the
or maybe
Detroit
Matt.
area.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, yeah, in the Detroit area. And so
Okay.
he did a couple classes with them, and he got so much feedback from these kids and the students because this book is designed for you to finish a short comic. It gives you everything to think of in regards of storytelling, in regards of character creation, but like in such a simplified way, it's not like overwhelming at the same time. So that's why it's aimed at children and like a younger audience because that's what it was intended for. But you
Okay.
have me working on it and Jade Louder, who does It's a Horror Show, doing all the art and also some additional edits along the line. We're kind of working through it ourselves, and it's really like kind of opening us up, and we're thinking about the things that we want to fix when we're writing stories to get rid of that roadblock. So it doesn't matter what level you're on because you're formatting, you're creating panels on the page, you're doing everything as if you're doing it all yourself. And there's a lot of writers that benefit from just trying to map out your panels and understand that process. There's a lot of artists who will benefit on understanding the script and like the speeds and the storytelling and what to consider in the background because these questions help develop the story. So sometimes when you get the script, it's already there. So it kind of helps you backtrack a bit. And just for
Okay.
everything in between, it's just like a good practice, when you got to go back to the woodshed. It's the perfect little pick me up workbook to be like, oh, and I finished a comic. Now I have a zine I could sell. Bam, there you go.
Yeah, that's
And it's funny too because I like to say there's no like magic bullet where everybody does things the same way. It's like everybody
Mhm.
plays in the sandbox differently. But it's nice to have kind of like a more generalized guiding light roadmap that will kind of give you the rules of playing in your sandbox,
Yeah,
so to
exactly.
speak, right? And ultimately, really, like what Quentin Tarantino taught a lot of people is know the rules so you know how to break them.
Mhm.
Right. And then that's how you can stand out from the rest. The other thing I really like about this book, the way you described, is that you mentioned it's kind of meant for kids. But here I am, a guy who completely is subscribed to Reddit's Explain It Like I'm 5. You know what I mean? Because I like that. I like things being taught in a simplified manner because then I can also reciprocate that in a simplified manner. Right. So it's passing along knowledge too, because, okay, you're in indie comics, right? You spend all the time kind of acquiring the knowledge. You ask people, they pass the knowledge on to you. Eventually, as time goes on, there's people who come to you, right? So you want to be able to convey and reverberate that as best as possible.
Yeah, dude, exactly. That's why, we're also doing these other editions. So it's based in like a superhero format. Booby popping up like always, man. He's
Black
gonna,
Panther.
he's gonna headbutt me any second now.
Cameo.
Honestly. He hides all day. Yeah, he hides all day, and then he's just like, "What's up, guys?" And it's aimed at like we're doing a superhero format because that's what gets more kids' attentions as they're trying to like come into comics. And so we're going to be doing these updated workbooks for different genres, different audiences, and our Kickstarter backers are going to be getting a lot of these free as exclusive downloads once they come out, instead of having to purchase them once they're released. So they're going to be getting updates down the line over the next year or so, and be put in like a feedback loop as well. So there's like perks within the perks to like kind of compensate for just the weight and just the creation and just everything. So it's really going to be fun for whatever level you're trying to do. So we want to do even like there's a superhero themed one. There's like we're going to talk about like noir and horror and just making an indie book and just all those type of things. So we're excited to give out like more at the end once we just finish wrapping up the edits on this one. That's really where it's at.
Great. So it's almost like more supplemental material under the same kind of idea, like
new workbooks.
Now get chapter 2. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Cool.
And then probably updates once we do. There's always things you find, especially in teaching and to like add-ons and whatnot. So like the guidebook is really your prime piece, and then you have the workbook where you build off of. So you'll be getting these workbook downloads and these add-ons and these little updates and whatnot. post campaign and everything too. So this is a constant work in progress as we start, doing more stuff like this, which is
This is like better thought out than the school system. It's like workbooks and like guidebooks, It's cool.
Honestly, yeah.
So it's launching at the perfect time too, as we're getting into kind of the summer season. It is what, from the lack of a better description, a comic book summer camp.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
What's cool about it is that it's going to be shipping around November. So you're going to be getting this. This is like actually, well, there's cool stuff. I'll talk about the summer camp thing though right now. They actually used it for summer camps when they were testing it out, and so I'll be doing workshops like with. It's cool you did the library thing. I'm actually doing so much with my library right now.
Are you?
We'll totally talk about that. Yeah, super. That got me so excited. I've been so networked with my library over the last week doing cool stuff. We're doing an event on Saturday. Anyways, we'll get back to that. But things. So God, I got too excited about the library thing. What was I just talking about?
It is cool that libraries now have comics so like ingrained. When I was a kid, the only like comics that would be at a library were like foreign comics, like Asterix and Obelix and things that were more obscure that you wouldn't find kind of normally in a comic shop. But now when you go there, like you saw in the video we did, like Spider-Man was on the shelf. Wolverine was on the shelf. Something's Killing the Children was on the shelf.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
great.
So there was everything at the.
But a lot of people don't know this part too. Like all those libraries, and I don't know if this is in every state, but all the ones in Massachusetts are all linked together. So if you want something that's not at your library, they can bring it in from another library so you can read it. So
another pro tip on that is that there's apps that you can integrate that you then get digital content. So there's free digital comics.
Yeah.
And Audibles.
An app called
Audibles too.
What's that?
Audibles,
Libby, Audibles where you can use. Well, my library has Libby, so there's 3 of them. There's Libby, there's Hoopla, and then there was an announcement today. You could check it on Bleeding Cool if you even want to pull it up. But there's some states going to be affected where their Boom is pulling their digital library because it's part of this certain program. It's not Libby and it's not Hoopla though. It's some third option. But if you go on Bleeding Cool, you can find the article. But Boom, their digital stuff is getting pulled on this entire library system. Because their integration with Penguin. It's really weird. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So the libraries will have to have this other option in order to.
They'll have to have Hoopla or Libby in order to get some comics now too. But it's like a really small. It's like a third because I haven't heard of any library who use that one. I'll pull up the article right now while we talk. Libraries are great, dude. Like I hit mine up just to talk about this project, to talk about panels and be like, hey, can I do workshops? Can we work together? And honestly, like I walked to the right person. She's like, in fact, I run all of the events and I run the comic department. So it was like a double win. And dude, she has stocked this comic department full of amazing stuff, and like they have mainstream stuff there. They have Scott McCloud stuff. They have Brian McDonald stuff like Land of the Dead. I just borrowed 2 books. One by Nate Powell, and I think the other one's by Invisible Kingdom. It's G. Willow Wilson and the artist that did Odyssey and the Batman Cthulhu thing. I forgot, but he's a great artist. He also did a Tarna book too. But like, I was shocked. So now I'm doing an event there this Saturday for like 3 hours. It's like a little rally for reading, and I'm on a table and just set up for free. Like everybody, go support your libraries and hit them up. I have like 6 events with them now this year. It's insane. Like,
honestly, go back to my library. I haven't gone since like high school.
Seriously, like all like the cost of like streaming and everything. You can go to your library and get movies and TV shows and like all for free. Like you just need to take the time to go get your card and everything. It's awesome.
And it takes like 2 seconds, to be honest.
I used to leverage all the time. I would go there all the time and get stuff. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to.
Going there to scan my 11 by 17 pages, since I'm like, we're doing a Spilled Ink zine to compile a bunch of the artwork from the last year since we finished the first year of the show. Yeah. And so I was just using the scanner and I was like, I should get a library card. And I was like, I need stuff. And then it took me like a quarter of a second. I just showed her my ID. And she was like, can you just show you're at this address? And I showed her my lease on my phone. She's like, cool. And then that was it. Like that was done. And I had a card.
2 seconds.
But check this out. It says libraries using Comic Plus use access to Boom Studio titles by May 30th, including hit series for all ages. Yeah, for digital libraries, just digital libraries. But it's kind of crazy. I don't know if your library uses Comic
doing
Plus.
that. Like
that's got to be like an exclusivity rights issue where there might be some licensing that's expired, or something there that could be, conflicting, so they have to pull that.
Yeah,
could
crazy,
be,
dude.
Yeah, there's always a money business decision.
It is always something like that
in a gray cloud hanging above comics,
right? Always. So now this panels thing, is that going to be part of, like, once it's over on the Kickstarter, is that going to shift over to Comix Wellspring where people can get it?
Yeah, so we're gonna have it for sale probably early, maybe December, January. But we want to make sure everybody who backed it gets their copies first. Because then you have to do a whole heavy metal thing and create a different, class of people because they're gonna be upset. I don't know if you guys heard about that. That was funny.
No,
do you guys back the heavy metal Kickstarter by any chance?
No,
I didn't. So I spent so much money in the Transformers one.
Oh my god!
I couldn't. I was like one or the other, and I'm such a big Transformers fan. I kind of had to call my shot on that one. But please enlighten me. I'm a big fan of heavy metal as well.
I guess I run a show called Spilled Ink, where we spill the ink and spill the tea. So we get some comic book tea going here, dude. So heavy metal, dude, a lot of people were upset. So the Kickstarter happened, it brought the company kind of back to life. And it was, a lot of people did. It was a killer Kickstarter. And they say in April rewards are going out. They have, thousands of rewards to mail out, right? But then, like, first week of May, heavy metal #1 hit shelves and in comic stores. And so people were like, dude, I could have just got it from my comic store. I don't even have my copy. And we may not get our copies till like June. You know what I mean? God. People were outraged, And I was like, dude, heavy metal's already fucked up. Like I'm a big heavy metal fan. They've gone through all this like crap over, the last couple of decades. I've had financial stuff with heavy metal where they had to refund me for one of those Jack Kirby Lord of Light posters, and go look that up. You're gonna cry because you missed out on it. These cool black light Jack Kirby Lord of Light posters, they were killer. Super sick. Well, I don't have one, so it's sad. When I paid for it, but it was a whole thing and whatnot. But so heavy metal is just kind of like their CEOs and the business structure has been kind of crap. So they closed down. They come back to life. Kickstarter books hit shelves before people could get their Kickstarter rewards. Everyone's upset, and they're like, hey, we hear you. And they created this whole thing called the Angry Mob, and they're getting the Angry Mob like exclusive covers, like a second issue, like you just pay shipping or something. They're giving them like special perks because they're like, we did screw up, like we didn't for you guys.
At least they owned it. Like at least they
owned it. They pivoted it into a fan club. Are you kidding me? That's marketing genius. They were like, okay, we have a bunch of angry people. Let's throw a bunch of free shit at them and make them a fan club. Fucking genius.
Yeah,
that's
genius. Exclusive Angry Mob stuff. They're like, we got to give you guys a nickname. How about this? All this. And they're like, it's not even just for the people who were upset. It's for everyone who backed on the Kickstarter. And I was like, that's how you take care of your people.
Yeah, that's classy, actually.
That's a G move. That is a G move.
I think it's Frank Forte who runs it now, or one of the main guys. But I interviewed Frank Forte on Apollo City Comics way back like years ago. And I remember backing his stuff with Asylum Press, and just to see the turnaround and where it's gone and to see them doing moves like this, I was like, that's commendable, dude. Like, I dig that. That's how you give back to your community.
Like, if anything, I'm glad it's back, because like that was always like around, it's one of those comfort comics that's always around.
You never always picked it up, but you just always see it in the shelf, so you knew like, okay, like this is still living on, and that feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Mad Magazine that we always took for granted.
Yeah. I was gonna be like, all the anthologies, but I have my stuff packed. Well, I guess I have covers. So all the anthologies here, that was all because of heavy metal. You know what I mean? That's all inspired by the themes, the way we do themes, because Grant Morrison, when he was editor-in-chief, he was like doing themed like issues and all that. And so, Cyber Sync, Shadow Anthology, Kick Out. That's all. I fucking rip off everything, dude. Like, I'm not
we wouldn't have Love, Death, and Robots if it wasn't for heavy metal.
Yeah, dude, you're right. 100%, Johnny. Yeah. That is a heavy
and I'm
metal
loving that new season
show. What's that? The new
I need to
season's
catch up.
good?
Yeah, the new season's great. Zeke Finds Religion is the best one. Fight me on it.
Oh,
Ooh,
did you watch
I
the
can't wait to watch
entire thing already?
No, I've been cherry picking only because like
Okay.
I've been getting recommendations,
Okay.
and I've just kind of been going all over the map because those things it's like it's anthology. They don't follow each other anyway.
Yeah,
So I just kind of like
jump
watch
over.
whatever looks the most interesting. And so far
Nice.
the best one is Zeke Finds Religion. I don't think there's
Are you-
going to be another one as good as that one.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
sick. I love
Yeah, I
that
have
because
to
it's
start
sometimes
the
they're
new
like,
season.
I have 5 minutes. Like, fuck it, this one's 3
Yeah.
minutes, perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right.
it's a good catch. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's how we kind of do it too, man. That's how we roll. But yeah, no, that's awesome. It's exciting to hear that they're back. Like I knew they went under, and I hadn't. This is how like unless the Kickstarter shows up somewhere in my face, I usually don't know. And that one's just happened recently, the heavy metal one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was
Huh.
like, that was. I guess it launched late or earlier this year. I don't remember when it launched. But it
I
was
am
for
aware
getting
of the
fulfilled.
Toth one, the Toth Zorro one that just popped
Oh
off. That
yeah,
looks cool.
yeah. That
But
does look cool.
I
So
just don't
pricey for me, I guess, right now.
That's the thing. Like, I might wait for that one because I bet that's going to be in comic stores, and maybe I'll have more money at that point to just dip into that. I'd love to read those though. I've never read them. They look awesome though, just from the Kickstarter commercial.
I mean, that's what's been hard about this Kickstarter for me, I feel, because the goal is the biggest goal I've ever done personally as a Kickstarter. I know people have done $5,000, $10,000 Kickstarter. Like 3K is the biggest one I've ever done. And I knew it was going to be like kind of rough and like a risk because it's a Kickstarter. It's our first one. You know, we're also like trying to back other creators' campaigns at the same time. Like I was given a budget. And so like I'll go and back a few people's campaigns and every here and there throughout the month. So to build like Kickstarter rep and also give back to our community in that sense too.
Right.
We're on the last like 500 of our stretch goal, and it's just like, man, dude, like Kickstarters are rough, dude. I hate them. Like, so when it's with the Apollo, sometimes I'm just like, we got it, like it's all good, and I'll have a creator freaking out or being nervous and whatnot, and I'm like, don't even worry, like just know the stretch is there. Look how far you've come. Statistically, you're set. Like we're set. We're gonna make our goal, but like I'm running it, so that doesn't process in my head, you know, until so I can't take my own advice. I'm trying to take my own advice and just be like, we're good, but just everybody go fund us, like just let me sleep better like tonight, please, you know.
When do you sleep? It's like you're up to like a million things at once.
I honestly, like I have a great team at Apollo. Like it's really we spit out so much, and I could do all this because we have a fantastic team. I'm very much like the front face for a good chunk of it.
You picked a good guy for it though. You're full of energy. I couldn't keep up.
It's just cool doing this. I think you know what I mean. Like this is dreams come
true.
true.
Just draw.
Talking about
you love it. Yeah,
it's insane. It trips me out like every.
That's what I want. I want a job that I can love.
Well, I mean, it is still a job, though. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to do Apollo all day. You know what I mean? That'd be cool shit. But it's I just shaved it. I just trimmed it up. You know what I mean?
100% the hair.
Yeah,
100%.
So
Tanner's got the hair too.
Before we look at the campaign, Brandon, is there anything new going on at the Comix Wellspring headquarters? Any new products popping off or?
Oh man, like well, there's right now we have a lot of big things in motion that like it's really taking a lot of like the heads of the company's focus right now. I feel like Tom DeLonge when he was interviewed on Joe Rogan, where he's like, I can't talk about that like for every question. Right. But there's like we got some cool stuff in the background, and I'm really hyped for it all to start coming out and trickling. But I think it's going to be a slow trickle this year. But there's some huge things that's been happening with the company and some people we're involved with. So I'm really hyped and I'm really excited just to be part of all of it. And you know, that's why we've cut down so much on the shows. I have so much like kind of background work that we're doing in meetings and helping people. And we're just focusing on stuff like this, like the products like this too, you know, like the blue line paper where we're looking at improving and finding other options as well to like elevate it and give, you know, creators different options for different materials. We have other books like this that are kind of being worked on. We have certain creators that we're trying to see what we could do with and like kind of elevate and go on with as well. So it's kind of just figuring stuff out, but then there's bigger things that play. It's weird navigating an indie world, but like, you know, Comix Wellspring is very much like a like a family business in the sense that there's like 8 of us in the whole company. But then like the people that like own us, we report to, that you're like working with indie and you can make indie deals and work stuff out. But then you're like, oh, I gotta go talk to like business people about this now and get approval.
Yeah, like investors. Like I got investors I gotta report to.
They have to like decide stuff and they take forever, you know what I mean? So like we love making stuff happen, but it's like, oh, we gotta go send it up the channel. And
well, I find that with any business, everything moves at a slow snail's pace. Like, you know, it's just, but that's cool that we know that you guys have big things in the works. That's great.
But you don't want to rush any of that anyway, because that could just cause a backfire or a problem. You know what I mean? It's a slow build.
The biggest thing we've learned.
Yeah, there you
like,
go.
Dude,
exactly.
I mean, dude, Greco. That's why their thinking was such a mess last year, and we had to fix and rebuild and change and like things that just weren't sustainable. Like, dude, the bookstore was not scalable. Like, that's like the thing about it. Like, everybody wants it back and everybody asks what happened, but it wasn't scalable. Like, there was no team to manage it. There was no way for it to grow. There was nowhere to put stuff either, you know? We learned so many lessons once everything got in our hands, and we got to be like, this is what was happening. How the fuck doesn't add up? Like, we can't do. And so everything was so pivotal. Like, dude, I mean, my job's been on the line like this, like in the past like 6 months. Like, you're crazy, you know what I mean? Because we were just handed a ball of fire and we had to repair it, and like it all worked out. I mean, we're kicking ass right now. You know what I mean? We have our community. Our community is so great. Like, people like you are so great. We work with so many cool creators, and they really like saved us. So like our entire community really did save us and give us the opportunities that we're working through right now. And it got us to do panels. It lets me do Spilled Ink every week. Like, there's some cool stuff, but it's really because people just, we fixed it on production and our team kicked ass. And then us on the marketing side and doing all this did what we did. And we're just, we have our community to thank for that, very much like Apollo. Like, it's the people behind it. Like, you have the people up front that looks like it's all like working and whatnot, but like it's really the background people just making it kick ass and like, fix things and make it fluid and make everyone happy.
That's awesome.
So
is the ball of fire now like just ashes and it's just been washed away?
Roast marshmallows every so while, you know what I mean? Just, very chill, go on your lunch break and just like hang out.
I'm glad to hear that, because like, Comix Wellspring does do great printing and they have a lot of great products actually. So besides the printing stuff, so I'm glad to hear things are going in a great direction now. That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been hype.
Yeah, so that's cool. You'll have to keep us up to date if it has more things enroll and things like that. I'm sure. Well, I follow the newsletter, so I always see what you guys have for new updates and everything. But
those are really fun too. Those are real fast. The newsletter. I mean, people want to learn about comics and stuff like that. Me and Jacob write all those and design them. So like, we're always just spitting out content. We're turning out more blogs now too. So newsletter is like really getting a cool revamp.
Yeah, it's great. Like you guys do give a lot of helpful advice on there. So if you're a creator, you may want to jump on that. And also, they also let you in on any sales that are coming up and any little thing like that. Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just gonna say, the one nice thing about the newsletter I like the most, Brandon, is that I don't feel like I'm being solicited to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. Yeah. Like, I don't want to get just a newsletter saying buy my shit, or buy this or spend your money on this. It's like you're actually giving some valuable content.
Yeah.
Well, the best newsletters do that. They give you some value before they go into the promo mode.
Yeah, I met with my so George O'Connor's gonna be on the show later tonight. I met with him last week. And I go, dude, I love your newsletter because I feel like I'm just getting like a letter from a friend saying, hey, what's up?
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Cool. Oh, yeah.
I'll have to back. I'll have
it's
to.
Weird that it ends in X of the nose, though. I mean, it's kind of weird. Weird newsletter.
I mean, the whole thing is like, showing people how to make comics. You make comics, you're eventually going to print your comics, and it's like that's my job. Cool. Like, I just want you to make comics, then let's do it. Which I guess segues to that. Going to the Kickstarter, like making comics, and that's really what we're all about. We just want people to be doing that all through and through.
Absolutely, and let me share the campaign while we're
Let's
talking
bring up the
about
page
it here. and you
I love that
already,
image right there.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Jade killed it.
Already
Jade
got the
absolutely killed
projects we love, which I mean,
awesome.
Why wouldn't you? This is such a great thing for comics.
What a badge of honor too. That projects we love, so awesome.
And Eric Allred filmed these cool commercials for us. We have the first one like listed on the page, and the other one's like on Instagram and YouTube. But like he killed it with some of these ads. It was so much fun
I'll
mapping
have to
those
play
out.
one then. I'll have to play one. But yeah, just so yeah, I guess walk us through the campaign, Brandon. Anything you want to highlight here? And
yeah, I mean, this is really cool. So you kind of have like the main characters. You have like panels, which is like the Doctor Strange looking guy, and the kids kind of come to life.
Yeah,
so you
right.
have a
That's
narrative you're going to be connected to. There's a lot of free will when you're creating stuff, but it's going to be really fun to like, we just thought like bringing a narrative to it instead of like just a standard step one, like and make it like a textbook. Like we wanted to make it engaging. And kind of this Jade came up with this really cool little short just about like dreaming of making a comic and like getting it and just like what the possibilities are after that point. Because really all it takes is one book to get you to table and go and sell it. Like you just need one 8-pager and look at you made a comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I just need to, Keith, if you don't mind just stopping on this image for one quick second. I just really need to address something. Yeah. Brandon, is there any reason why there is a striking resemblance to the wizard with the pencil to yourself?
Oh no, that's not me at all. That's
pure coincidence.
That's all Dan Hills. Like that's
he's got your dapper beard. He's got the dapper stash. The hair is almost on point.
Like, hair's too short.
It is too short. Too short, but slight resemblance. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
It is. Yeah, it's the darkness.
I just imagine you take off your glasses and you transform into this guy. Really,
that'd be amazing. Honestly, I need a variant at that point of Jay doing me like that. Like.
That's great. But okay, so you go through what you guys get here, which is cool.
Yeah. The guidebook, we say estimated around 100. We're doing final edits still, so it's not a cemented, the page count kind of bounce around as we add stuff. But it's a good little thick book. It's gonna be magazine size as well, so it's kind of hefty. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
And so that's the guidebook you'll be using universally. The workbook, it's 28 pages. You'll spit out an 8-page comic at the end of it. And then plus tons of little extra just side sheets and whatnot, like word balloon stuff, all this. It's funny seeing this image because it's so beta compared to what it is now. Yeah, I printed it, the recent one. It's just downstairs. But it's basically a good example of what it is. It's kind of breaking down everything to think about and consider, give you some space to map it out. Here, Jade has mapped out some of the thumbnails and pencils, like by following the steps and kind of filling out the form. And it's really, it's immersive, you know what I mean? And that's the coolest thing about it. It's not telling you to go find the stuff. We're giving you the materials to do it. Even these artboards, which will be included. So, and this is what Jaden, and then he rendered it. Yeah, super cool.
And I love that you list who would benefit from it. Which anybody really, anyone that has a desire to make comics would benefit from this.
Yeah,
whether you're a veteran or beginner, I think.
Dude, for sure. It's really just insight, just going back to the woodshed before, map out your idea with this book, think about something different that you may have missed. I was just like in an editor interview, and the person we were talking to was like naming like questions that they give, creators. And then it made me just like really think about stuff. Like I was like, I didn't consider that before. I didn't consider that. And it's one of those things like until you kind of like sit down and look at it, or like get told it, you kind of just get stuck in your story head sometimes, so it's good to have someone question you, especially if you don't have like an editor to be bouncing ideas off of.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you guys have tested this too?
And
that's awesome.
That's what we were talking about earlier. And so they've done this
summer camp
4 or 5
kind
times.
of thing.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have some of the kids they've mailed us their books once they finished it, and we've printed some for some of them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, this is awesome. It's such a great idea.
Yeah, and some of these rewards. So the book is 45 because it comes with the guidebook and the workbook. So you're getting 2 books in one with some bonus materials, the extra sheets and all that. Get your name and book listed as like a thank you in the page inside of the book. So it's always going to be there listing your name and whatever publisher or book you want to do. we do killer foil, so we always got to offer a foil edition. I always encourage it. Really hyped for the foil that we're gonna be using for this one. I think we're doing a new special foil. We really haven't pushed very much yet. I think only a few people have been able to test it. It's gonna look sick.
Oh, nice.
Has anybody ever taken like a comic book class in college, college course, to see how it compares with the, So how's it? I mean, I'm sure your this thing here is much better than a college course, right?
I mean, that's what I took in consideration when editing this too. Yeah, like it's one of those things. I didn't really learn how to make a comic in my comic class. I just kind of understood what a comic was, and so this is to like get you to do that.
Throughout my entire schooling career, I've never learned anything as far as art goes. You know what I mean? Like no one ever taught me. I swear, no one ever taught me how to draw. I just kind of always drew, and then and then all through college, they gave you a textbook. Here's the how to read the chapters. Like I want to learn. I'm a very visual learner, and this is like awesome because you can see it step by step. You can see how you do it, and I went to Fitchburg State University now. Used to be just college, but now it's in a university. But throughout my 4 years there, they never hired, not one professor knew anything about graphic design, and that's what I was going to school for. Until the very last semester, they hired this guy, John Kravitz was his name. And I'm like, and he knew everything. He was like, he had your energy. He's like, oh my God, you got to do this. You got to do that. This is how you draw. This is how you do like a vector. In Photoshop, it's how you do this. I'm like, where have you been? Like all these 4 years of my life, like now they hire you, like so I was so angry, that I pretty much taught myself, the only reason I learned how to draw very, well using Illustrator was because I did a internal internship at the school press. And I learned, and then this woman, this lady that worked there, her name was Bonnie. Is Bonnie. I'm sure she's still around. She's like, oh, Harry, this is how you, like, I don't know where you learned that. This is how you do it. This is how I do it. I'm like, that was the greatest hands-on lesson that I ever had, and I still draw the same way, so.
It's awesome.
So it's awesome that you have this. It's very
I see that you guys got a Wham stand here. That's
we've partnered with Wham stand. We're actually gonna be doing an interview with Moose on the 26th. We're gonna announce it Friday. We're doing an Inspired Ink live. We're gonna be talking to him. We haven't interviewed him before, and I work with him so much, and we've talked to him, a handful of times. Such a great guy, and just to bring more awareness to Wham stand, dude. He's just killing. I mean, I just have Wham stands up. I don't even have books on it. I just have Wham stand.
Right. It's funny. He went from relative obscurity to almost. I see Wham stands everywhere now.
I think because he advocated for us, and we're doing a good job to try to advocate for him as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He took care of me and Johnny when we first heard about him from
same
George, and this was a couple of years back, right, Johnny?
Yeah, like last year, maybe a year before. But even just like the quality of the work he does is amazing, and the light boxes he made for me were like just out of control, awesome. He's so talented.
Yeah. I want to check the. So we have two tiers. We have the mixed tier, we have the mixed pack, and we have the full set. But we have like a Magic the Gathering style, like CWS trading card set that we're creating.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool. Yeah. He's been working on it for a long time, and we were able to utilize it for this. And I was like, let's give it a shot. Like, let's just start making a game out of it. And so it was like a fun thing we got to collab on and just like start putting together. So
you know what'd be cool with the trading card idea with like something like this, like almost thinking about it like an apples to apples kind of thing, where it's like, but instead of like insults, it's like story ideas that you can combine.
It's cool. Yeah,
wouldn't that be cool idea? Like one of the cards would say Dracula goes to I don't know whatever, and then like the other card would continue that narrative, and then you're like, oh my god, there's a plot.
Man, that'd be cool to do like some indie books and like have like images on there too, or like indie artists like drawing stuff. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Man, you're gonna give us ideas. Now we're gonna have to start talking out there. Like,
feel free to steal that, man. Team No Sleep says love from trading cards. Who doesn't? Like trading cards are great. And
this
you
is
get
probably the coolest
supplies.
one.
That's a cool idea too.
Dude, you get a pack of the 11 by 17 paper, which is 24 sheets.
The
You
micron.
get microns. You get some killer Blick pencils with a sharpener. It comes with those dope gray erasers, some colored pencils. You get a full
Cool.
setup to like use like for not only your workbook, but then if you're gonna go and draw your comic and do it on 11 by 17, like you go make your book. Like you could. That's
Oh,
two things at
incredible,
once
dude.
you're knocking out. So yeah, we found some really cool partnership with Blick, and so adding that on, I'm super hyped about it.
Freaking awesome.
That's cool.
This is great. Family
So this
pack
was
too.
this is just like a fun little tier to come up with. You know what I mean? We always have to have one to make it. Let's just see how it does. And so we the family pack was kind of to think about like, you know, you have all these creators who are parents or just parents that, you know, make comics in general and print in general, and they want to do something with their kids, or start introducing, you know, nieces and nephews, whoever, or even just use it for themselves and their team. But like, you get two of everything. You get two guidebooks, workbooks, two of the supply packs, which is everything we just named just now. And then you get 10% off CW's printing. Like that's insane. Like
Yeah,
so
right.
it's a timed limit. I forgot, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to get quoted. It's a year or 2 years. But it's been a long day, so it's one of the two, but it says on the page somewhere when you back it.
Gotcha.
So but that 10%
Cool.
discount 2 years of
That's
CWS
that's
10% off
huge.
on every order you do. So you 500 to
Oh,
invest
every
into this.
order you do for 2 years? That is huge.
That is huge. That's huge. What a bargain on that.
That's we had somebody back it, and that really helped us out. So it's just like, you know, we get one more of those and we're funded, to be honest, which is dope. And think
Wow,
about
that
how
might
much
be
you
worth-
save in 2 years between your books in general. You know,
Seriously,
you're
Think
yeah.
about when
order
you run your
books.
Kickstarter and you have to print all those books. Now, let me ask you this: could that stack with, like, say, if
It
you
doesn't.
advertise on the page?
Doesn't stack.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Wait,
Good
if
to
you
know.
if you oh no, yeah, if you it's stack. Also, that's changed a little bit. We'll talk about that real fast.
Okay.
But it doesn't stack on top of additional discounts, so you can't get 20% off. Nobody gets 20% off.
But you can do
Um,
like, don't you get? Can you use your points with the discount? Like, can
Oh yeah,
that
rewards.
happen?
Rewards are like tier based too, where you could use them. So yeah, you could use
Okay.
rewards with stuff. Yeah, it's just you just get 10% off too. You know what I mean? So like, that's insane.
Yeah,
We
it's
just wanted
almost
that's
worth for the discount on printing versus even just getting the. I mean, obviously the workbooks are great too, but the printing, wow, that is
That's a
good
bargain.
value.
That's such a bargain.
because even if you think about it, like, you know, say you do. I mean, what's the average person Kickstarter rate? I don't know. I can't say. I'm not the average person. My life is Kickstarter. It sucks. What is
I
the
would say
average
like an
person?
average, like
Two?
a small Kickstarter probably needs to print like at least 100 copies, I would imagine.
Well, like how often? You know what I mean? How often
I
do
was
you?
Yeah,
at about
right.
200 bucks, I think, when I did mine.
Well,
if you go to
twice a year?
cons all the time, you're going to be replenishing stock.
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
So like if you
time, and-
do a Kickstarter once a year or even twice a year as a like independent creator, as a publisher, like that's only 2 or 3 10% discount codes for crowdfunding you get. You know what I mean? All
Yeah,
those in
right.
between orders that you need. But plus, I'm not gonna lie, this is a cheat. If you time your Kickstarters right and you get this package, you can get like 2 years, 2.5 years with 10% off. Because if your last Kickstarter, you know, is close enough to where that 2 years is ending, and then your book is funded, and then you have to request for a code, like, dude, you just got another 10% off discount
Yeah,
code.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? You just got to like think about how to like stage your Kickstarters or orders while you have this discount to utilize and maximize it to potential, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But there's
That's
ways to extend that, you know?
Yeah,
2
so
plus
it's a
years.
upfront cost, but you get that money back over the 2 years, I would think.
Oh yeah,
Easily,
yeah. 'Cause, dude,
easily.
you save like what anywhere between what 100, like, I mean, depending on your order, but like a lot of average orders, people are saving almost 150 to 200 per 10% coupon. Sometimes closer to 200 if their order's that big. But like that's a pretty. I mean, you do
it's
that
a pretty
twice, you've made back your money. Like
yeah,
worth it.
yeah,
So,
exactly. That's awesome. And then let me see, we got stretch goals, we got free poster, 16-page how to digital download. That's a good idea.
And then it was supposed to say 10K, but that was a typo.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't notice that until you pointed that out.
Okay, cool. My bad. I should have said shit.
Yeah, no, dude, this looks like an awesome campaign for anybody, I would think.
And the digital one's $25, which is, I know it's high for a PDF, but I mean, Apollo standards, I do have like half price of physical, but you get everything else plus all the upcoming digital downloads and everything that we're sending. That's not even really listed here. It's more of an incentive that we were going to surprise people with, and also, you know, anyone listening to like incentive to back. You know, I have a second update. I didn't post it because I forgot today.
Is this the commercial, the video that you were talking about?
That's the first one that Eric Allred filmed. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let me
Let's run
play
it.
this. All right. Hang on.
No body or arm.
Hey kid, you need to pick up your comics. You never know when they might be valuable. Kid, that's not what I meant when I said you need to make your own comic book.
How do I even make it look like that?
Keep your walls clean. Bring home panels. The Comic Creator's Guidebook, brought to you by Comix Wellspring, the indie comics printer of choice. For creators, by creators.
Love it, dude.
That's really
That's great. That's really good, man.
Cool. I want to hit you right in the feels.
Look at that,
Yeah,
83%. So we're getting there.
We have another
11
one,
days. You're gonna hit no problem, dude. I don't think
man.
have
You
to
guys
worry
are doing
about
great
this.
on the campaign.
Just need a few more backers. Yeah.
I think you're
Super
good.
hyped.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for this. I think it's great. I can't wait to hear the feedback. Like once you fulfill it, and then also once Comix Wellspring starts selling it, I'd love to see what kind of stuff comes out of it. Like, you know, like you guys find the next superstar or something. You know, like can you just imagine?
Well, some of the stuff I was talking about, like with the background stuff, like we're trying to fix the bookstore situation in some way, but there's going to be a way we could like eventually put everyone's books up somehow, or make them available, or showcase them, or you know what I mean? Like we're going to figure out some way to really highlight what people are creating with this type of stuff, you know? So I'm excited.
I put the link in the chat,
like
for
American
any of you guys
Idol
out there that want to check
comic
it out.
book maker.
Dude, honestly, yeah. I mean, think about it. It's
Or-
a way for publishers to use for submissions. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
simple
dude,
guideline type of thing.
seriously.
Yeah.
I'm like absolutely shocked that no one's thought to do something like this. In
That was a
all
pretty
these
good idea.
years
That was
I've
on
been
the
making
fly.
comics,
Fucking shit.
there was
Dude, right?
never anything like this, you know? Like
Can we
I said that right now,
start
and I was
a
like,
shark?
holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah. When
what
we
were
text
you
the
saying?
Apollo team, we're gonna be like, man, I just had a good idea. We got to go back to Indie Comic Relay to hear it. We're gonna start bringing people on board with this method now.
I think we should start a Shark Tank comic book, show. You know, like
Idea
just like
show?
There you go.
have people bring us their ideas. I'm like, and then we can like judge.
Man, if I was rich, I would totally do that.
I was gonna
Like,
say, if I had the
right?
collateral to do that, I would so throw money at projects that people had to pitch to me.
Yeah.
Oh
dude.
man,
I'd make a whole I'd make a comic book show and then pitch me your story and let's see if we'll fund
Yeah,
it or
right.
not. Dude, I'm so down for that, dude.
so I mean, technically,
I know. I wish we had money
Technically.
to
Yeah,
do
right.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
That
I
would be
mean, if
fantastic.
you could bankroll that. That you write up a business plan, you put it all together, and then you sell it to a studio.
Johnny, let's talk off air. It's,
Johnny always has the ideas going, which that's why I love him.
Another one I was talking to a friend about is that there should be a diners, drive-ins, and dives for comic book shops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know.
dude, yeah.
Whatever that version
Yeah.
is, like comic book characters and cosplayers. I don't know. That's something weird. Like
I'd love to
Weird like
drive
that.
around America with a
There's-
cosplayer, going to different comic shops,
in a convertible.
highlighting all their stuff. I'd be like the fucking Guy Fieri of comic books. So many people would hate me. It would be great.
I think people would love that.
Yeah.
Too. Like, I
Maybe.
think people would.
You're just trying to go to Flavortown. I don't know why people
I just
hate
want to
on
go to
it,
Flavortown, kid.
Or speaking of flavor, that we're talking about ice cream over the weekend because of
Oh,
those,
Travis just nailed the title of the show.
There you go.
Travis, you
comics.
fucking genius,
Right,
you.
right.
Cons and comics with cosplayers. Boom.
Right.
There you go.
Done.
But like,
Cons
we have
friend.
we
Some
have
other
ice cream
jerk gonna
truck.
steal that idea for now.
Yeah. Dude, this episode is loaded. This 45 minutes have gotten like 4 businesses started. I swear to God. Like,
Here's another one. So summer's coming up. We'll buy an ice cream truck, sell ice cream and comics.
Only if we can come up with a good idea to save Diamond.
Yeah, I think they're all done though, aren't they? Like I thought I saw something that they're just
Is it official?
done. Yeah, I heard it. I heard whoever bought them doesn't want to deal with comics. So
I get it.
Yeah, right.
only you can say that, Brandon. Given how much you take on and how much you do, that you are allowed to say that. I get it.
Well, I mean, like, why get into it? Because everybody else, like Penguin and Lunar, kind of took up the reins. So, like, why even bother? You know what I mean? Why have a third option? I guess I don't know.
Does it kind of now make sense when all the old timer comic creators were telling these people not to get into comics and to don't do it and to tear them apart? Maybe they were trying to protect them or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe. I wish there would be a distributor just for indies though, like they had in the early 2000s. That would be. I'm waiting for somebody to step up and do that. But same thing. It's going to be
like. Comix Wellspring kind of does that to an extent, and Apollo kind of does that to an extent, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Brandon doesn't want to add that to his plate.
There's stuff we've looked at with Comix Wellspring on a distribution level. There's so much, manufacturing, first off, is insane. Like printing comics, like I've learned about how a lot of other printers do it. And a lot of it, once you find out, you're like, that fucking makes sense. But like when you're really dealing truly with manufacturing and doing the manufacturing yourself, there's so much overhead and stuff to consider and things that go on that's insane, and then when you talk about mixing in distribution, like we do fulfillment for creators, it's an option we offer, but mixing in full-on distribution on that level and scale, there's like components that need to be in place for it to be scalable and for it to be possible in general.
You're doing it on a smaller scale with fulfillment, though, because fulfillment's just like a baby kindergarten version of distribution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you could kind of do it this way, if you had the resources and the scalability, you could do it the other way. So that's why when I say, like, you kind of do it, but not really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if we'd have to really like boom, like in business, and also be able to keep up with that boom in business.
Yeah. Hire more people.
More machines. Exactly. Like it has to happen the right way and that's, we have a really group, we could take on more business. However, any company that gets just slammed and toppled with 4, 5, 8 times the amount of business to make that type of thing possible, that would just everyone's gonna be upset because it's gonna clog production, because now we have to organize as a company and upgrade on the flip of a dime, which is near impossible when you're talking about the type of stuff that you have to integrate into these printers to make sure everyone's books comes out great and goes through a pre-press process and things like that.
You want to grow slowly,
but you don't want to compromise integrity or quality or any of the important things that that make creators trust your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because then,
if you ruin that, forget it.
Right. At least here, you could call us and we're going to talk to you and we're going to help you out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we want to be able to continue doing that and delivering. But I mean, that's like, if that's a huge, like, if we're doing distribution, which we're not at the moment, but there's stuff where we have, we know a guy that knows a guy that went to college in his room. You know what I mean? Like, it was his roommate's cousin. But there's some stuff going on.
But all right. Well, Brandon, any other thing you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just keep up with panels. Thank you guys so much for supporting it. We're right there. Help me sleep at night and keep my job by making sure we get fulfilled. And then of course keep up with Apollo City Comics. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff coming out. We're entering year 3 this July, which is insane, dude. Yeah, year 3.
I can't
We
believe it's
are.
been that long.
Dude,
That's
me either.
crazy.
It's insane. We're doing a really cool Kickstarter that we'll be announcing soon. It's going to be Apollo City Comics Zero Trip. We're bringing our international creators over, Skullhead
Oh, cool.
Comics and Marie Morgan, who does Sugar Rush. It's very much a sugar and spice because they're just 2 totally different flavors. We're doing 2 books at once. And then we have Artie Murphy, who just joined the crew, and we're going to be rebranding and putting him under. And then we have some other new creators we're bringing in. Catch us. I'll be at DC activists doing events in the DC area at the end of June. We'll also be at the National Cannabis Festival in July here in DC, and then and at my local library at Hanley Library here in Winchester, Virginia, this weekend in September. So yeah,
so good. Are you going to be at Terrificon this year or no?
Maybe I got to see where finances are for that.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see you there.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. If not, I'm gonna be doing Plastic City next year for sure because that looks dope.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
you've been killing it. Like, dude, the lineup's awesome. I've been hearing so much good stuff about that show. Like,
sweet, man.
Yes, I need to get into that next year.
We could probably work something out too. Like if a Comix Wellspring and maybe we could do something.
That'd be
awesome.
super cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, Brandon. Well, thank you for joining us, and everybody check out the Kickstarter for Comix Wellspring panels. It's awesome, especially if you have people in your life that want to learn how to make comics. I think it's the way to go, and especially kids. I think it's great for family activities. Get those kids off the video games and streaming and get them creating.
On paper.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So good. But Brandon, thank you so much, and hopefully you'll watch the roundtable that's going to be coming up next.
Yeah,
It's going to be
I'm
a
gonna
lot
cook
of fun.
dinner and hang out with you guys right now. So
Nice.
Awesome.
It's great, man. Well, good to see you. And then hit us up whenever you have something else that you want to come on, and we'll definitely work you in, man.
Cool. Thank you guys. It's always good talking to you.
Oh, nice seeing you.
Yeah, same, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Brandon.
You too.
Have
Later, guys.
a good one.
Take care, man.
Good night.
Night.
Absolutely love that guy. He's the best.
He is the best, dude. He is the best. Yeah. Johnny, did you? Yeah, I know you needed some a little bit of time.
Nope, I'm good to go.
You're good, Johnny.
All
right. I want to just zip through. There was a couple of good comments.
We just came up with some amazing ideas in just a few short minutes, and the only thing preventing those ideas from coming to fruition is time and money. Which us as indie creators don't have.
Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, JD Rosario, what's up, man?
JD,
Haven't seen you in a while,
man.
dude. Yeah, good to see you,
I haven't
man.
seen him since October at New York Comic Con.
Oh, nice.
Today I got my final invoice for this year's New York Comic Con. I got to get that paid up.
Jess said, now I want to make a comic with my 5-year-old.
Well,
there you go, Jess.
There you go, Jess. And so there you go. You and Little Man can make a comic off of that Kickstarter campaign. So highly
definitely take a look and see what a tier would be best for you. Probably just the basic one, just to get the workbook and the worksheet and stuff.
So there you guys.
What's that?
You can hire an artist.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, we're gonna be pivoting right into our Writers Roundtable episode right now, which is so good.
That's exciting.
I think we got we're missing one of the.
I'm gonna be a fish. I'm gonna be a fish out of water because I'm not really a writer, but I have written clever things in the past, though. So maybe I can learn a few things.
Harry, you're so clever and witty anyway. You'll be able to chime in and you'll be able to nail a perfect line.
Absolutely. Right, and then we did one episode like this before, and it's been about a year or so, maybe even more than that.
And that was a great episode.
It was so much fun.
It was widely viewed too. I think we had a really high viewer count for that episode.
It was our first record, viewer count. Yeah, you're right. Why we're alive, which was awesome. The one thing I was going to say now, this episode of the Writers Roundtable, we have like 5 creators coming on. The questions are going to be a little more fun this time around. Like the first time we did it, it was a little more serious. And then also Johnny, do you want to explain what you're going to be doing tonight?
Yes. Okay. Should
Okay.
I just say what it's going to be? Do the writers know what's going on, or should I wait for them to get in?
I think all of them know. Do you want to bring them in first so they're here?
Not just fucking bring them in. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. I'm going to bring in who's here, and then we'll try to mug a little bit, and if the other person doesn't show up, we'll just...
As they come in and introduce themselves, I want them to answer if they have a desire or a goal or an ambition to work for a big comic company. That's the only... I need that precursor. That's it.
So everybody in the green room, have you heard? I could see everybody. Have you heard that question?
I can repeat it if necessary.
They're all listening.
Write down your
right,
answers now.
Everybody's here now. So
perfect.
I'm going to bring everybody in the order I see them, and this will also be the order that I ask when I ask a question. We'll go through this order as well.
Okay.
For the team.
I didn't review the question, so I'm not going to answer them unless I'm asked.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't going to. I would say add your 2 cents in at the end, like we did last time.
Yeah. But I don't plan to answer any questions.
Okay. All right. First one. The first one I see back here is the one half of the Ogle brothers, and that is Tanner. Ogle, what's up, man?
Tanner, what's good?
What's going on?
Are you on mute or sorry?
Uh-oh. I think you're on mute, Tanner.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
There you
All right. All right. You want to answer the question Johnny just proposed?
Yeah. So definitely, I definitely do. It's I have a hard time believing any comic creator, would say no. I feel like even the people that are like, I would never do that. Like if Marvel gave you a call tomorrow, like, come on. You're gonna do it.
Like, cut the bullshit.
Cut the bullshit. You're gonna do it. Yeah. You'll take the meeting.
Yeah.
I was just catching up on my books today and had it. So sorry. Go ahead.
That's awesome. Awesome. So that's roundtable writer number 1. The second person I'm going to bring in right now. It's been a while since he's been on our show, Mr. George O'Connor. What's up, pal? What's going on?
How are you,
George?
George, good to see you again, man.
And you heard the question Johnny proposed?
I did. Yeah, it would be validation, right? Like we're all working our asses off, and we're all hoping we're doing something good and worthy of being seen. So yeah. That being said, I did not create comics because I had the Spider-Man story I had to tell.
Yeah.
I'm in it to tell my own stories. That being said, I do have what I think would make a great Doctor Strange annual. 48 pages. I've got a story for that, and I also know how I can take the serial numbers off and just make it my own as well.
Oh, awesome.
So it's funny that George says that because if Marvel called me, I don't think I could concoct a whole series, but I've got a one Marvel Knights story locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah. Everybody's got it, dude.
Yeah, the one. It's just the one, though.
I don't have anything ready, but I would by the next day if I got that call.
100%.
Keep up all night.
Yeah. All right. And the next one, another favorite to this show, Mr. Nandor Fox Shaffer. What's up, Nandor?
Hey, what's up, guys? So great to be back.
Long time no see, dude.
I know. Been too long. Yeah, I feel a little rusty. I haven't done a live show in a while, so this is
we'll shake it off tonight.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
did you hear Johnny's question? What would your answer to that be?
Oh yeah, 110%, 110%. It's been one of those as an indie creator, it's always in the back of my mind, and I think a lot of creators should have it in their mind. I mean, depending on what their goal is, but in any case, you want to be as professional as possible because that's going to show in everything that you do and how you present yourself and the people you talk to and all of that kind of stuff. So I would love to work for a large company.
Yeah, that's awesome. perfect answer, and I think everyone's going to be a yes to that, Johnny.
I want my $350 when my $1 billion character hits the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next guest is the second half of the Ogle brothers, Mr. Travis Ogle. What's up, man?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, good to see you, man. Did you hear Johnny's question?
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny. I can't say that there isn't like a weekend doesn't go by. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it a lot, but I've always wanted to take up the mantle and do a Superman standalone.
Oh, nice.
You know, I've always Superman Birthright was one of my like big pickups when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh, I just want nothing more than to just pick that up, make something like that, and just put down the cowl, let somebody else pick it up, you know.
Yeah, dude, I love that. That's awesome. Great answer. And then our final guest, who's a frequent guest to this show as well, Mr. Tony James. What's up, pal?
Oh, what's up? What's going on, guys?
Well, now, did you hear the question? I know you kind of snuck in there at the last second.
I didn't hear the question. I was trying to put it together, but what was the question?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Would you work? Do you have a goal or ambition to work at one of the bigger comic companies?
Yeah, but in sort of like a bucket list kind of way. You know, I have a Batman story that I wrote that's like 400 pages. So
did you really? Wow.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I would write something else, and then I would still have that idea and write something else, and you're like, well, who cares? Let's just get it on paper. So yeah, it's more of a bucket list thing.
Awesome, yeah. Before we begin, any of you guys that have anything to promote, like Kickstarters or anything upcoming, share it in the private link for me, because at the end I'll do a promos for everybody. You know, at the end of the show, or if you have nothing, just any link that you want me to share, if you just, you know, with social media or whatever, throw it in the private chat and I'll highlight it. I'm actually going to change the order. I'm going to do it more towards what I see on the screen right now. So I think Nandor is going to be the first person, then George, then Tanner, Travis, and Tony at the rear.
Can you put us in a circular formation, like a round table, or is that?
I wish. StreamYard does not have that capability.
Did we clear this with King Arthur first?
Yeah.
Not really,
okay. Now that everybody's in the room, Johnny wants to do something special for this episode tonight. Johnny, the floor is yours if you want to explain what
we have.
Yes, I wanted to do a game for writers.
Okay.
So this will feel a little bit D&D-ish.
Okay.
But I want to give everybody the opportunity to play their part, and then at the end we're going to try to put it all together and see if it's cohesive. It might not be. This might be an unmitigated disaster, but let's try, right? So that's my thought there. The only caveat here is I planned for 4 different competitors, so the Ogles are our team. Okay.
So they'll
Ogle
probably have
brothers
to
are a
text
team.
each other on the side or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Now they're
lose.
He goes.
He was like, no.
Yeah, he's like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. It's good. We already got
Sorry,
that.
I'm having internet.
Okay, so now
Travis.
So Nandor,
is
you're off the hook
Yeah.
because Travis is now the first one. I see.
Oh wow! Hey,
Nandor will be the second, and then and Tanner will be the last. So the way we see it on the screen is the order I'm going to go through. All right, Johnny, continue your explanation.
Okay, so here's the game: the Formation of Voltron, a writer's prompt game.
Okay.
So Lord Zarkon has issued Lotor and the Wicked Witch Hagar to coordinate an attack on the planet Eris. They devise a plan to resurrect several defeated roe-beasts into one massive new destructive creature to decimate and enslave the Erusian people. Princess Allura must call upon Voltron Force to come together and save the day. This is the objective. Each writer will contribute to the legendary formation sequence of Voltron, Defender of the Universe. And they will add a line to help add to the plan. We lost Tanner again. All right, so everybody's going to add a line to help. Everybody's going to add a line to help add to the plan to defeat the Ultra Roe Beast with a limit of 1 to 2, 3 lines max. So you can add sensory details, pilot's determination, unique characteristics of your specific assigned lion, whatever the case may be. So basically you're going to be part of the formation, and you're also going to throw a line in there that kind of like helps form the plan of defeating this beast, this ultra beast. So again, four teams, I guess, or 4 players. Let me assign everybody. So everybody's going to be the 4 limbs of Voltron, and I guess I'm going to be the Black Lion, the way it works out, the way I have it mapped out. So, okay, Writer 1 is the Yellow Lion, Hunk, who is the powerhouse of the Voltron force. So who should be number 1? I guess we should do it in the same order of the lineage.
Or does anyone want to pick? Do you want to?
No. I want you to assign it.
You want me to assign?
I want you to assign it in the order in which people would be answering questions.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well,
because and this will all have a point later on. But so assign it, Keith.
Okay.
Who's going to be number 1? The Yellow Lion Hunk. I feel like George is viciously Googling and looking for Voltron stuff. And so here's the other thing. The reason why I picked Voltron is because much like the way Harry gets triggered by the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, don't even mention it.
If you're a watcher of the show, like specifically, I can point to the Ben Taz episode. I'm a very big fan of Voltron. I've actually made a point to bring it up in the past. So this is my fun way to kind of do my Voltron thing here.
Voltron fanfic coming up.
Yeah, hell's yeah, that's what's happening right now.
We lost Lion though.
Now, before
we lost a lion. We might have to reformat. Well, that or he's just going to limp into battle.
Are all you guys are familiar with Voltron? You guys are all familiar.
It doesn't matter if they're familiar with Voltron.
Okay. All right, and then
that's the fun part about this, and I'll tell you why at the end.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right. Thankfully,
but we'll do it at the end of the episode. So you guys are gonna have all episode to write about it.
Okay.
So 2 to 3 lines, and then we'll convene at the end.
Now, does someone have to start it and then someone else pick it up, or does each person just
No, you all have your own individualized things based upon the lion and the pilot you're assigned.
Okay. All right. So if that's the case, then so the Ogles are working together, right? So they're going to be the 4. Okay. So
are they going to be the first? Are they going to be
Tony
number
can
1?
be the first one. Hunk.
Okay. So Tony, you got the Yellow Lion, Hunk, who is the powerhouse of Voltron Force. He forms the left leg.
Okay.
Those are all the details you need to know, aside from the opening sequence, which I will reread if I need to.
Wait, so it's I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So it's 2 to 3 lines of what exactly?
2 to 3 lines of dialogue.
Okay.
Involving the formation of Voltron.
Okay.
And a line or 2 involving the plan to defeat the Ultra Row Beast.
Okay. All right.
And I'll reread the opening part again after I assign all the lines. I should have done that first.
Okay.
Assign everybody and then read that part. But we'll go back and we'll circle back around again. Okay, so I'm just going to make a note. Tony James is the Yellow Line. Okay, Writer 2. Keith.
Go with Nandor's next.
Nandor. You are the Blue Lion, Lance, the steadfast guardian of the crew. He forms the right leg.
That's the one I'd want too. Lance is the best.
Okay, Writer 3.
George,
you are the Green Lion, Pidge, the youngest yet smartest member of the team. You form the left arm.
Got it.
Okay,
got it.
And the Ogles.
The Ogles are the Red Lion, Keith, the formidable and fiery team lead, who forms the right arm, and also would be forming the Ultra Sword, the blazing sword.
Nice.
Very important role.
You're the Black Lion,
Johnny? And then so I have a line set for the Black Lion, which who forms the head. Okay. So I will. So I'll cover that portion of it only because that's the way I kind of originally planned it, and thinking that the Ogles were a team. So to that point, let me just reread the top part again, and then we'll go right into your questions, Keith. Okay.
Okay, and you guys will work on this in between answering questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's already on it. It. Okay, so objective. Each writer will contribute to the legendary formation sequence of Voltron, Defender of the Universe, and add a line to help add to the plan to defeat the Ultra Row Beast with a limit of 2 to 3 lines max. Add sensory details, pilot determinations, or the unique characteristics of the lion that you've been assigned to. Those are just additional details. And the opening sequence, or I guess the kind of the initial prompt is Lord Zarkon has issued Lotar, his son, and the Wicked Witch Hagar to coordinate attack on the planet Eris. They devise a plan to resurrect all the several defeated Robeasts from the past into one massive new destructive creature to decimate and enslave the Erusian people. Princess Allura must call upon Voltron Force to come together and save the day. We good?
Okay, I think so.
All right, awesome.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I'm not a writer right now.
Oh man,
me too.
And right.
This is
Should we have some Jeopardy music playing, or
what's that? Should we put the Voltron?
No.
We should cue
Jeopardy
that up
music.
for later when we're reading the sequences.
Yeah, right. It probably Facebook doesn't like when we do that, but
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. We will get flagged on that. Oh yeah. Oh, the other thing is everybody has to read their sequence, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
with
at
a
the
caveat.
end.
Yeah.
We'll do that at the very end of the show, which will be
That's
great.
where, yeah, exactly. That part comes at the end. So you guys have
and
all the time you need.
it's 2 to 3 lines, right?
2 to 3 lines, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Paragraph at the most.
And
Like
think about who's coming first, right? So Yellow Lion's first, and he is the left leg. Yellow Lion is the left leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this,
so think
and this
about
is this is a plan to defeat the Beast guy from. I didn't watch Voltron.
so like the prop says is that they devise a tactic. So
Okay.
the thing with Voltron is every week they would. It's almost like Power Rangers.
Okay.
They would find a creature, make it big, and send it to go destroy Voltron. Voltron would come together, fight it, and kill it.
Okay.
So same thing. They took all the defeated Robeasts from the past, and they're making one giant Unicron-esque Robeast.
Okay.
An Ultra Robeast.
Ultra Robeast. I don't know if this would be helpful for you guys, but I don't know, Johnny, if you'd want to maybe put the prompt in the private chat, just so like
I will do that right now.
people can read it. While I don't know that always helps me. But
I will do that right now.
Awesome.
And that's not to say that you guys can't communicate in the private.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I love
That's interesting.
Tony's nervous laughter.
Yeah. It's like,
I was like,
no, it's okay. I'm right there with you, Tony. I never really watched Voltron. I know like surface level stuff.
I wasn't even allowed to watch Power Rangers. Tanner and I weren't allowed to watch them because they were too violent.
Oh, no way.
Oh yeah, we couldn't have laser tag, couldn't watch Power Rangers. It was like a whole
Power
like
Rangers.
secretive treat to go to our cousin's house and like try to watch the Ivan Ooze movie before mom came to pick us up.
Yes.
the Ivan Ooze.
Ivan
movie.
Ooze.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm interested to see how this will come out for sure.
I'm all about faking it till you make it. All right. So
Yeah. Why not?
There's a point to this. There's a point to this.
Pretend like a Marvel editor gave you this assignment.
Don't spoil it, Keith.
Oh, is that what's that?
we all got
spoil it,
jobs
Keith.
for Marvel. This is just like a little prompt. We were all pre-selected. That's why.
Right.
Caveat.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Right. Everybody right. Keith,
Okay.
take it on with the show.
Okay, yeah. So we'll start with the roundtable question. So first panelist will be Tony, and this is the first question that I came up. And like I said, these questions are more fun this time around. So the first question is, what's the weirdest real life situation you've ever put into a script, and did you have to explain it to your family? Go ahead, Tony.
Well, there was an alien that came down to my backyard. And no, I don't think I've actually to date put anything in my actual life into any of my scripts. I think for me, the challenge that I like as the writer is to find empathy in situations that are foreign to me, and I think that's kind of the challenge and ultimate joy of being a writer is just trying to find the humanity in situations that you otherwise are not familiar with.
That's a great answer, man.
But if something did come up, it would be something to the effect of, don't be mad at me, guys. I did this one thing, and then tell them how what I put in there.
That's awesome. I like that. Good answer, dude. All right, Nandor, same question.
Yeah, so I was really thinking about this today because I was thinking about the different stories that I've written and like, what would be considered weird. And I don't think I have anything that would be considered like too weird, but
Okay.
I have put a lot of you know people that are, I guess, like experiences, where as a writer I'm drawing from people that I know, people that I'm observing, strangers, news reports. I mean, the whole world is like an observation deck, for me to pull from. And there's been instances in my stories where family members or friends will come up to me and they will ask me like, who is this about? Or like what are you pulling from, for this like character or this experience? And sometimes, they're like, is this about me? Like they get defensive,
Right,
and
right.
that's always been like a very awkward conversation to have because, half the time or most of the time, it's like it's pulling from different people to create a character, or it's an amalgamation of experiences that I've had rather than one specific one. But for example, like there's this text exchange that Rufus has with a girl in Man-Child issue 1, and I remember a friend came up to me, and the way that it's lettered like an iPhone text exchange. It has like the blue and gray lettering,
Yeah.
like receiving text, sending text. And I had a friend come up to me and he was like, did you pull this like from a real conversation? Like how did you format it that way? And I was like, well, my letter is amazing. Like he was able to do it that way. But I was like, that's all made up. That's a made up conversation, that's been had. And something that it's a double-edged sword because I appreciate questions like that because it lets me know that what I'm writing has relatability and like authenticity to the characters and the conversation. Like it almost feels like it was pulled out of real life, and like that's a good thing. But the downside of that is like people think you're talking about them, and that's a really like awkward conversation because I'm like, no, this wasn't about you. Like this wasn't about this person. And, it makes
Yeah.
it's a little weird sometimes because I'm like, hey, like this is what writers do. Like this is a part of the job, and so that would be my answer to the question.
Gotcha. No, it's a great one. How about you, George? Have you what's the weirdest real life situation you ever put into a script?
I don't think I've got like the same thing, like not the weirdest, but like you were talking about, the amalgamation of observations that end up in the book. Like we did this book called Baby, which is about kind of our kaiju meets Clifford story. But it was part of the inspiration was when my son was 8 months old, learning how to walk. And like, oh, it's not that he wants to knock things over. He's just bad at walking. So what if all these monsters destroying Tokyo and New York City? It's not that they hate these cities. They've just never walked on land before. And it's a big misunderstanding, right? Like it's all that. I mean, I realize as I keep pitching my books at all these cons, like my son is like all over these books. And yeah, it's just a gateway to talk about other things, working on this new book. The worst day of my childhood life when my childhood arcade closed, and I didn't find out until the day I walked up and it said, closed on it. And so I'm kind of using that as a jumping off point to just kind of talk about all the times throughout our lives where like a foundation of our life at that moment, right? It could be a school, it could be a friend, it could be a house, could be an arcade, gets taken away. And like in the moment, it's the worst thing that
right.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man.
That's it. It's like, it's all, it's all just psychological damage wrapped up in, awesome colors and inks.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Either that or therapy. Okay.
Yeah, therapy. I like that. That's awesome. How about you, Travis?
Man, I don't even know if it's like a weird situation as much as it is like I just make it weird because it's just like a basic thing that like I just have no understanding of, and so it's like, you know, when you don't know something, you don't know how to, you don't have to be like a nuclear scientist to do like the whole fusion reactor meltdown, you know, but you have to do enough to sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
It was,
right. You have to have the lingo.
I tried to keep it to scripts because, like, you know, I did a lot of like prose stuff, but I've been working one of my like older prose books into newer comics that Tanner and I are going to do. One of the opening sequences is at a car dealership.
Okay.
It's just a guy just trying to like, you know, just sell like a mid-sized sedan to a nice older couple, you know, and it's just getting really into it, and just that whole like trying to like break down that sequence of events, and like there's not a lot of resources for like, hey, let's watch these people buy a car.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
like that. So it was a very like weird experience, but no, I never had to explain anything to my family, though. To be honest with you, all the things that I have written that I would have to explain to the family, that's why they don't know about it. You know, it's nothing that's come out in the thing. But yeah, no, nothing besides that. I've kept it pretty mild. Actually, you had me picking up my all my books I've written so far, just like kind of like flipping through to see, like, was there anything that was particularly strange? You know,
that's awesome. Oh, that's good. Johnny, did you have a?
I was just gonna say, if anybody asks me if there's anything like, hey, was I the inspiration of this book? I just say I don't know what you're talking about.
Deniability.
Yes.
Johnny C. Lesson 101 right there.
Yeah, right.
You know what you're talking about.
The only thing I would add is that I nothing weird, but like I same as you guys, like you know, if you ever heard like somebody tell like a great joke or say like a great line, sometimes that line will end up in the script at the end, or even when I did stand up a lot, I based a lot of my stand up off of situations that happened to me, or, you know, like especially like my trip to Six Flags when I was a little too big to go on the roller coaster ride, and I based my whole like 5 to 10 minutes of my act just on that. It was like pretty funny.
I
But,
love
like,
your stand-up, Keith. Like,
have you seen
watched
it?
those. Yeah, I've watched those like reels that you've posted and stuff.
Hells yeah.
Oh, no, thanks,
They
man.
crack me up. You're really good.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, you know, I would, not to go on a tangent here, but I would have stayed with it, but I just found stand up to be kind of boring at the end of the day, because like, you know, you craft an act and it's just like saying your same jokes over and over again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Like,
Like,
that's
how
why
do
I
you
like
keep
comics.
the spontaneity of a joke you know so well? Yeah.
And whereas a comedy, in order to get better, you have to just craft that same act over and over again, you know? So that's why I went back to comics, because I want to just tell new stories and write different things, you know? So, but yeah, no, it was everyone had a great answer. So I appreciate that. It was awesome. All right, Johnny and Harry, anything to add to that at all, or are we moving
Don't know
on
what
to
you're talking
number
about.
2? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. Harry, did you ever
Talking about Willis?
do anything weird with your art from a person in real life? or-
Well, back in the day, I used to work at a grocery store, and I did the chalkboard drawings. You know, as you walk into the store, I would do the sales of the week. You know, and I would do, like, there was a guy that used to do it before I volunteered to do it, and he was like a French guy named Franz. You know, and he left to go to college, and after he left for college, I'm like, oh, I asked my manager, can I take over the chalkboard drawings? And it's like, really, Harry? I'm like, well, I draw, you know, it's what I've done it my whole life. I'm like, give me a chance. It's like, all right. So I went out there, and I think the first thing I drew was like the honeycomb bee, whatever, like saying, you know, see what's buzzing this week. You know, I would do like a catchphrase or whatever, you know. And then I would do do more advanced drawings as I got better at it. And I did like a Seinfeld drawing, you know. I did like I drew the Mona Lisa. Said like even the Mona Lisa will raise her eyebrows at this week's sales. You know, she has no eyebrows. But anyway, but within every drawing, at that time I had a friend named Val that she was like, you know, my best friend at the time probably, and I would sneak her name in every drawing. So I would incorporate somehow, somewhere. I would say, trying to find your name, or I would have her name somewhere in the drawing, so she would look for it every week. But
that's cool.
Yeah, so I like the duality of drawings, you know, where you can like have it be two things at once. You know, it's like it's this, but it's also this. You know, you gotta find it. I like hidden messages. Good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Johnny, check the chat. There was a question aimed towards you in the private chat.
Oh, okay, you got it.
And then, all right, and then moving on to number 2. This is actually, I'm curious what you guys will write here. I think this is a legit good writing question. What's the most unexpected thing you've learned about yourself while writing your comics? Start with Tony James on that one.
That I'm kind of obsessive. I tend to be very thorough with how I kind of develop my stories. You know, I want to know about the character inside and out. I want to know what the clothes that they wear. I want to know what chair they're going to sit on, why they're going to sit on that chair. And I think because of that, the world that I create kind of feels very lived in. And my readers often tell me about like the level of immersion that they experience because of that. And that's just as a result of me, you know, always trying to turn over every single rock because I want to have an answer for everything. I don't want to be confused about how the world works or how the characters interact. I obsess over every little detail like a crazy person, but for the better because it creates a very fully realized story.
I like that. It's a good question.
Well, like speaking of comedy, like Seinfeld says, like he makes every single word is is important to the joke. You know, everything has to be in the right order, and it's gonna be the right word. You know, and he tries so hard to make sure it's like, you know, if any words are out of place, the joke isn't funny. You know, it doesn't have the same. So kind of like what Tony was saying, like, it's kind of like the same. Every word is important to this, you know, the story.
Yeah. Every detail. Yeah, like Tony's saying, every detail.
You know, because the devil's in the details. That's what they say. You know, so I obsess constantly over the details. I will have a panic attack over pinstripe. Like that has happened before. Just because I just like, well, if we don't fix this part, the whole thing's coming down.
Oh wow. Okay. That's interesting. How about you, Nandor?
Yeah, I really like this question. I think the thing that I noticed after having written for a while now, and kind of in different genres and like the differences of the playgrounds that I've been kind of experimenting with and in. I realized how much more I enjoy the small moments between characters rather than large, like bombastic moments or like action sequences. Like I enjoy writing the like character rich moments a lot more, and that's unexpected because as a fan and as like someone who grew up reading comics and loves these larger than life characters, I always gravitated to a lot of the, you know, the fights and the action sequences and like the hero versus villain, you know, type of confrontations. And so like, for me, as I was writing the type of stories, and whether it was superhero or, you know, fantasy or supernatural, like I started to like really get, I don't know, I would get really like focused and determined, and I would look forward to getting past those like more, you know, bombastic sequences so I could get to the dialogue, like the character moments. And that was something that for me, I did not expect that. I thought, oh, I just want to get to the action, or I just want to get to, you know, like them doing these really insane things and these fun things. But and I still enjoy that. But there's something for a writer, there's something more satisfying with being able to drive home what you really want to say and what you can say with your characters.
Totally understand that, actually. I same way, actually. I always thought the action part was going to be more important to me than those moments.
Yeah.
But I find I like to write those moments better than the action.
Cool.
And it actually makes the action better if you can nail those moments.
Yeah, because you can it gives everything context, and it makes those sequences like that much more impactful. So
yeah, I agree. All right, George, how about you? Same question.
Yeah, Nandor got me to change my answer.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
Because really what I've learned since writing comics is actually the more you let go, the better the end result. Yeah, I started writing like full.
No, what do you mean by that? Like more you let go, like
so I started by writing, full scripts, all the dialogue and all that stuff. And recently, and I got to give a lot of credit to Fernando Pinto, who I've been doing a bunch of work with. The amount of trust of me going like, kind of like a pseudo Marvel method where like,
okay,
here are the main beats. I see this section taking 3 pages, this section taking 2 pages.
Oh wow,
that type of thing.
Like, okay.
Yeah, and handing it over to him and letting him figure out, oh, this is a 5-page or 5-panel page. This is a 7-panel page.
Oh wow,
all of that. Because I will never understand pacing as well as somebody like Fernando, who's got his 10,000 hours underneath him. They're the artists are they're the experts on on the page and camera angles and acting and all of that stuff. The colorists are the experts at the color wheel. Like I don't know shit about the color wheel. So who the hell am I, other than like, hey, let's make this thing look dark. Hey, let's make this look, thing look sparkly, that type of thing. So giving everybody more room to play just makes everything better. Like the more ownership I can give everybody else, the better the outcome.
Awesome. Yeah, no, go ahead, Johnny. It looks like
just going to say, to paraphrase George, everybody needs to stay in their lane. Respectfully.
I like that, George, and I also feel like if you have the artist that you can trust to do that, that would work totally.
The artist is your cinematographer. Your colorist is your lighting department, and your costume, like your colored palette department. Like you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways you can compare it to film, and just the way those things are broken down. It's like you don't have one guy doing an entire movie by himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Like Fernando just shot me a page. Like we end an issue with one person, getting big over the top, beautiful comic booky punched in the face.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I told him. I was like, hey, let's end this on like a big, punch to the face. And that's it. And what he came back with, I don't know how I would have written what he came back with.
Wow.
Because what he came back with was perfect. And it's perfectly Fernando.
Nice.
Which is, again, it's going to make him shine, which we all know as writers, when the artist shines, we get that glow.
Yeah.
Like we get way too much credit for a lot of what the artist does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So yeah, like just to bowl this out a little bit more, I'm also a musician. Making comics and learning this rule has made me a better bandmate, because I now understand it's not my job to tell the bass player exactly what to play. My job is to tell the bass player, this is what I'm going for. You do your thing that gets us there.
Gotcha.
And the outcome, again, the outcome is bigger, better, more collaborative, and everybody's involved.
Love it, dude.
Better
That's a great.
product,
Yeah, I never thought about that with like as far as going with a band, as well. Like just learning what you should do, what your part in that band is, and then like not trying to control everything.
That's the same thing.
That's interesting.
That's the same thing in a group of creative people. Like everyone has a role in making that comic book. It's the same kind of thing. You're a band of creators, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Speaking of creative, George, your colorist is who in the Charlie's Place, isn't it?
Charlie Spot. That
Spot.
is. Oh my God. I'm tired.
I think I said.
And now I'm panicking.
Allie, is it Allie? Is it
Yes.
Allie Peppertone?
Thank you.
What a great name for a colorist. Peppertone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, Ellie
like,
Peppertone. Yeah, again,
It's like an anchor called Zipatone, like
Yeah.
Charlie Zipatone.
Again, apologies that
Is that
you
a
just
real
saw
name?
all the squirrels in
No.
my brain freeze
All right.
at the same time.
Yeah, right.
I know you're still working on the Voltron thing, so that's okay.
Awesome. All right, moving on. Travis, same question, man.
Well, Harry tried to say that he wasn't a writer, but this guy's got the best notes in the business.
Yes.
Preparation H.
I
Again.
tried, dude. Thank you. I mean, it was so nice meeting you over the weekend. I meant to say that.
Oh
at the
yeah,
beginning of the show, but
I was so geeked out. Poor Harry got hugged by me because it was like a celebrity
right.
walked in. I was just like, oh, it's Harry. Oh my gosh! And
No,
I've never gotten to meet you before.
I don't think we have, but it was nice meeting you in person and your brother. Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Where he is? Where is he? Is he still working?
He's probably gonna have to dip out. His whole internet system is just going.
That's all right.
Nice.
And but he might be drawing something. I don't know. We'll see. He's listening in. So
okay. Well,
we believe in you, Tanner. Wherever you are.
Yeah, right.
I believe nice meeting you too, Tanner, over the weekend.
I see, and this is such great answers from everybody. Oh, Keith, your book's trying to attack me here. No, it's such great answers from everybody because now I had a whole plan and how to go into it, but it is very much like it's like George says. I mean, especially because I'm working with my brother. So much of what we do is that that sauce in between. Where I have one thing, he has another, and then we don't know what's going to happen in the in between, but it just melds together. And it's just like, hey, you got chocolate on my peanut butter. Oh no!
Yeah.
And suddenly you have something new, and it is very much like with comic books, especially, it is such a beautiful marriage of the different forms. But I think what comics has really taught me specifically is that you don't need to have this huge, elaborate, multi-arcing story to tell a good story, and it's just so much. There's so much. And I say these exact sequence of words all the time, but there's an economy to the storytelling that is just so beautiful, and you're not going to find anywhere else, because you are able to try to make one thing say three things, or just this quaint little scene of one person just having a cup of tea, and then can just to touch on what Nandor was talking about with those quiet moments. You can really deliberately control the pacing and how your audience reads it, in a way that you can't really do with any other medium.
Yeah.
So it is definitely just that learning to not worry about being so grandiose and just finding that tight little spot with the story. Come in late, leave early.
Yeah, kind of getting to the point. Get to the point, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and then even in retrospect, you go back to so many of our beloved favorites, or just these tiny little sequences that are just have this hyper focus on them, and you don't really need to get really too far into it. You can just kind of take a look at this snapshot, get in there, get what you need out of it, and then let it go. You don't need to get into all the details of it. Your brain will do the rest of the filling in with it.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's true. A lot of stories are over bloated. They don't need to be a whole arc. Sometimes.
Oh yeah. I'll be the first person to say that movie was 6 minutes too long.
No,
I talk about this with Saltburn all the time.
I feel like all the modern movies are at least 30 minutes too long now. But anyways,
I'm genuinely curious, Keith. What was your self-discovery in comics?
For the same thing?
Yeah.
Most.
No, we need answers from you guys too here.
No, I already deferred. I'll give it to you, but I already deferred. Keith,
you got to come back to that one, Johnny. I got to think about it because I honestly didn't prepare myself to answer any of these myself.
I was just curious, Keith. I threw you a curveball there, so I understand that. I wasn't prepared either. But if you want, you can circle back.
Yeah, I think
I can give you mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Self-doubt, and I'm my own worst enemy. Those two things is what comics taught me.
Is what you found out as you were writing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I feel
I like Tony's mild. Like he had a realization or something. Something clicked, or almost like he ate a really good salsa. He was like,
No, I'm just silently drowning inside related to that.
Like this little like Tony will remember that.
Yes, yeah,
right.
exactly.
I guess like with me, it's more like finding out that I actually can write solid like superhero stories, because like I come from comic strips, like doing like, you know, three panel gags most of my life, and then, you know, loving comic books, reading them, but then taking that step to actually try to write one. Like I didn't think I could write a good one, you know, and it's just more like learning from, you know, reading all the classics, and also like, you know, like learning from like how Stan Lee writes a story, and, you know, things like that, like, and it was able to do it. So I guess that, you know, I guess that was unexpected for me, like just trying to, you know, get a grasp on that whole genre.
but
doing it
discovering that
okay.
you could do it, and that self-realization is like,
Yeah,
wow,
like they could
yeah.
do it okay, and that, you know, people would read it and like it, you know, or it's like, yeah, this is fun.
It's like when
know,
you
so-
realize, oh, I can ride a bike.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I guess that would probably be, I mean, I probably could dig in deeper if I had more time just to think about it, but it's
I can write a Voltron comic.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Well,
honestly,
we have 4
it can,
different people writing one tonight, so
No, it can really be like that though, because Tanner and I we got to pitch comic for IP that I've never had like any introduction with at all, and it is something that, you know, that's part of the job with being a writer. It's like taking this like, hey, like I don't know what this is, but you can kind of like figure out like a tone, and being able to match that tone and tell a good story within that medium is the job. You know, it's you can tell the same story with whatever skin on it. You know, it's just about getting the meat and potatoes right.
right. Details, getting the details. Yeah, like meat and potatoes, like you said. All right. That is great. Let's move on to the third question. This one is kind of fun too. What's the strangest thing you've Googled for research purposes that you hope the FBI never finds out about? You want to start that one off, Tony?
Well, as somebody who is writing a murder mystery that doesn't hold back on the gore, I am 100% on some FBI list somewhere. I Google stuff like, how long does it take for a dead body to decompose? What does a human kidney look like in someone's hands? What's an appropriate liquid to preserve a heart, which, by the way, is 70% alcohol solution, and something called, or something called formalin, which is a version of formaldehyde. So I definitely to keep Big Brother off of me, I definitely follow up my searches with, this is for a comic, I swear I'm not a murderer.
Exactly what a murderer would say.
It's the perfect cover.
Yeah.
That's great. How about you, Nandor?
Yeah, so for me, for my post-apocalyptic noir story that I've been working on, I was reading and doing a lot of research on things like how to make a homemade silencer, you know, and like how to make a homemade, like, you know, bomb or car bomb, you know, and like how to make your own generator, almost like a prepper, you know, looking into a lot of like survival tactics and really, you know, like some areas of hardware and weaponry that, you know, I would have never looked up, you know. So because I'm trying to make everything authentic, and I'm also looking into like 80s weapons or like Cold War weapons specifically too. But it was I was getting a little worried when I started, you know, looking up like how to make my own silencer and things like that. I was like, yeah, I don't know if
you gotta 3D print that.
Yeah, right. I could probably, and there we go. So but and I was also looking in for a while. I was looking into a lot of like CIA documentation, you know, files and things like that, and like, you know, what's classified, what isn't when it comes to this era. So that was something that just in the back of my head, I was thinking, I wonder if anyone is like paying attention, to me looking into this stuff.
It's so funny. I was watching an old episode of Hawaii Five-O the other day, and there's like a body that they found, and they have like a murder weapon, and they're not wearing gloves or anything.
Yeah.
They're picking up their hands like, oh, look at, here's the gun, and they're putting it in the plastic bag.
Forensics has changed. Yeah.
I guess so. It's like, you idiots.
How about you, George?
Tony reminded me of one, not as deep as you guys, but at one point I felt like I needed to be accurate in finding a backwoods morgue in Kentucky. So there's a search about morgues in Kentucky, and then me just drilling down to try and find one that felt, backwoodsy enough.
Nice. I like that. How about you, Travis?
The one that I think that I had to go the most in depth into to try to find the answer that I'm sure got me flagged on several lists. It was back when I was doing my more like fandom writing before I got into like doing published stuff. I won't say what character I was because I don't know the IP, but he was a steel-clad Russian guy, and there was a building in New York, and I was trying to figure out, hey, how much would it take to really take down this building, and how much does it weigh? Could someone like with super strength of a certain degree be able to carry that, or at least for how long, and direct it in which way? And there was a lot of physics and stuff looked into it, and I know way too much about the structural integrity of buildings in New York now.
For science.
Oh, that's awesome.
For science.
Yeah, for science. That's great. And none of you guys had any no one with dark glasses knocking on the door or anything like that? Like
not for that reason, no.
Not for that reason.
Or other reasons.
That's awesome. Johnny, Harry, anything you wanted to add to that one? Do you guys ever have to Google anything weird?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
Johnny C101 deniability.
I erase my browser history all the time.
We gotta be careful that incognito isn't as incognito as we thought.
Right. Awesome.
For a club though, or a bar like Cognitos. And then when they ask you where you are, you can just say or anything.
I'm incognito.
There's a good question from somebody in the chat. If you guys want to take a look at this one and like formulate an answer, I think this would be good by BMD Nerd. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, BMD Nerd's great. He reviewed Surrounded by Death on his website.
Yeah, I can put it up if you guys just want to see it. That's a good one to try to maybe get a question or an answer.
Oh man, but that's calling us out.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to share. Like
doesn't mean you published it.
The best line I've ever written.
Oh yeah, we could do the opposite of that. Best line you ever written. That could be good.
It's probably repressed is the problem.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's in the past. We're here to talk about the future.
The future, yeah.
Right.
No, it's probably just some like really clumsily worded, like way over the top, using way too much like alliterative, like trying to sound fancy with like your over descriptive words. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of them.
I have a few that
probably for me
makes fun of me for.
Yeah, probably for me it's something probably on the nose, like let's go find that murderer over there, and you're like, why would he say that so directly?
I know. You see, that's funny because that's going to come back later.
All right, let's move on to the number 4. This is actually a good one too. I can't wait to see what the answers of this are going to be. What comic trope do you secretly love, even though you're supposed to hate it? And we'll start with Tony on that one.
This is gonna sound weird coming from the murder comic guy, but meet cutes. I think they're over meet cute, like in romance, like in rom-com.
Okay.
They're overdone. They can be gimmicky at times, but I don't ever really hate them whenever I see them. And plus, because they come with a really repartee, which is really fun. Just two characters having a back and forth. A guy meets a girl at a bar. He says, what's a girl like you do in a place like this? And then she says, I'm the reason a guy like you comes to a place like this. And you're like, okay, we're cooking with the dialogue now. So yeah, I mean, even though technically it's cringe and whatever, it is a very effective storytelling tool.
Okay, that's good, man. How about you, Nandor?
Yeah, so I was looking at like common tropes, and trying to kind of wrap my head around like what is something, because the question is like we're supposed to hate it, and right. I'm like, what is something that like gets a lot of criticism that we don't like and that is kind of tired now. And for me, and I understand the criticisms, but I always have a soft spot, and it's a part of just being a kid and falling in love with comics and the stories that I got into that got me into comics. But it's always the deaths of characters and like the death of a certain character, and whether it was the death of Captain America, the death of Superman, or Human Torch, or Captain Marvel. And like, a lot of these superhero characters, now it's just become so tired because we know these characters will always come back. But there was a point in time where, we didn't know that, like it wasn't something that was always reoccurring. And so for me, I have a soft spot for death of stories. And even if I know the character is going to come back, I'm always interested in how they kill a character. Like I want to know, like, is this believable? Like, are they bringing in all the baddies? Like, is it like the entire rogues gallery against the hero? Like, how are you going to write the story, and how can you make it like the best it can possibly be? And as a nerd, I enjoy seeing like how a hero could fall, and then how a hero could come back again, and what kind of stories you could tell with that.
Nice. That's a good one.
I just want to say, when Nandor said when, characters used to die and we didn't know that, it was like when we still believed in kayfabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man, he's dead forever. Oh, whoa.
Right. Now we're in a time where kayfabe's very like common knowledge. It's like, how do you operate within that, right?
No, man, Undertaker's.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say Ghost, actually. Or Sixth Sense. That's a better one.
Yeah, Sixth Sense.
Not even know he was dead, or nobody knew he was dead.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
It's just 50 first dates all over again.
Yeah. How about you, George?
I think I'll go with, but what if this super good character was born in the wrong place? The classic Red Sun.
Yeah.
What if Superman landed,
evil Superman.
Yeah. Which is often the point of all the Elseworlds that they do, and some of these absolutes and ultimate universe stuff is definitely a play on that.
I think it brings home the randomness of who we are.
Yeah.
It just, luck. Good, bad luck. Just play such a big role, and like no one's willing to acknowledge that.
Right.
It's the whole like born on third base type of stuff.
Mm. Yeah, no, I like that too.
How come Bizarro Superman never talked backwards? We just talked dumb, pretty much.
Because then we wouldn't be able to understand them. There's be a whole other thing.
But he's backward. And he never flew backwards. It never walked. Like, nothing about him was backwards. It's like always like he's just like, it was like dark, it was like drawn evilish, and that with like weird lines in his face. he was never like backwards at all.
Slightly hunched over.
Yeah, right. You talk like a caveman or something.
That's great. How about you, Travis? What's your trope that you secretly love?
Oh, see, this is
to hate.
this is what I told Tony that was going to come back into play later, because one of my favorite things is like the classic Claremontian X-Men, like over-explaining their powers. Like, I'm nigh invulnerable while I'm blasting. Or like the focused totality of my psychic force, or just like the kinetic beams of my eye lasers. Like,
or if you have to hear Wolverine say he's the best at what he does.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll never not love that.
Exactly, because I mean, like it's that, like, it's the over explaining what you're doing while you're doing it, because you got an audience.
Although,
do you know love that though? You're right. It's so corny, but it's awesome.
Do you know the one time that worked though in a movie, Superman 2, I believe, when he's telling Lex Luthor out loud, like whispering to him, like, if I'm in there, my power. Yeah, you guys will be. I forget how it goes, but basically, while he was in the tube, whatever, he was protected by the rays, and everybody else lost their powers.
Right, right.
But he knew Lex would betray him. He told him about like, it's like, oh, hey guys, like she is so awesome. What a great scene that was. That I'm not explaining it well, but that scene was awesome.
We know what you're talking about.
It adds that economy of storytelling. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, you can't like always just go through and like show 5 panels to explain what all's going on. But if it's just like Jean Grey's doing this, and then like you just see this big like pink thing, and then she's like, oh well, if I do this to like rearrange all the molecules or whatever, you know what's going on. What were you going to say, George? You had like your hands up.
Yeah. I've been trying to formulate or put it together in my head, because that just reminded me of when I reread Giant Size X-Men 1, which I probably hadn't read since I was 30, 40 years ago.
Old school Krakoa, man.
And beyond that, what you so wonderfully eloquently stated, everybody referring to everybody as like the shittiest nickname possible. Right? Like, I'm reading this X-Men book. I'm like, they're just shitting on each other. The entire, whether, just the shittiest nicknames for each other. It's like, I have a first name. I have a code name. You don't have to call me, Fuzzball and Screech.
One eye,
all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing it justice, but if you ever go back and reread it, they're just shitty to each other.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely were. Like the whole
great.
like Johnny Proudstar, and then like Sunfire quitting 5 times.
Yeah.
There was a lot of angst in those days. A lot of angst.
One of the tropes I love is the misunderstanding between 2 heroes and the eventual fight between them.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I love
that was my second choice.
Was it? Yeah, I love seeing characters fight each other. I don't know why.
If they would just have a 5-second conversation, they wouldn't have to do it.
Right.
They would have to fight.
Yeah, right.
Or
yeah,
we could have
Martha.
fighting
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
We talked about that this weekend, the Martha thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Martha, you know that name. Yeah.
But you see, of all of the issues that everybody throws around that movie, that's the one I'm like, well, hold on, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one I will forgive that movie for.
Well, we were talking about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about it over at Haverhill, because it was very much in the moment when you're watching it. It's like, oh, I never thought of that. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then
That's
it's
cool.
months later of just
Like
like
a movie had thought of
that's
that
stupid.
before we did.
You're like,
You know?
that's how kids like settle things on the playground. You know what I mean?
Oh, your mom's
It's a
I
very
don't even know if
comic
this is a
book thing to
trope.
do, for sure. you know?
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if this is a trope, but I'm tired of like every street in Gotham called like Robinson Park, or like whatever creator worked on the book is
not
like
creator
Avenue.
Yeah.
No, I like.
Is that a trope
gotta-
now, or is that like?
Oh, it's
is
definitely
that...
a trope. Yeah.
Okay.
These
Yeah, I
guys,
don't know.
like, especially in like the movies, like I saw Mark Waid had posted that in the latest Superman trailer, there's a blink and you miss it, like Wade Avenue sign.
Okay.
And like going back to like, look, man, they're getting $350, for like, Ed Brubaker brought back the Winter Soldier the way we know him, and he got like a high five in a Snickers bar.
Right,
no, put their names on there,
My favorite's Liefeld.
Thank you. That's one I couldn't come up with. Yeah.
I mean,
felt
I
sweet.
guess more in the comic book. Like I
Gotcha.
understand the movie side of it.
Yeah.
This is more in the comic book stuff, like.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of like old panels where like Stan Lee and like and Louise Simonson were all like in there like as like actual themselves in the panel.
Yeah, like actually drawn
all
into
the
the
new
book.
mutants are like running around in the background doing something. That used to be real common.
Yeah. So I don't know. I always thought like how many Jerry Robinson avenues and like how many Bob Kane streets are there in Gotham City, like just that kind of stuff.
But they're like trying to give directions in Gotham, and they're like, there's like 10 Kane streets, like which one, downtown, uptown,
North
like,
Main Street,
right.
not Main Avenue. That's
right.
There's 10 Kane streets, but not one Bill Finger street.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
And that's the real tragedy.
That is. He couldn't even get a street named after him.
Yeah, right. Or a park.
Another comic trope that I really like is when they take a hero and then they want to give it like a bizarro villain, but it's just really sort of like an the same like archetype. It just like sort of like a mirror. Like I remember reading James Tynion's his Detective Comics run, and then he had the Victim Syndicate, and like every villain was perfectly paired with one of our heroes, and you're like, what are the chances that they would think of?
That's right.
That's like Super Friends in the Legion of Doom. There's a counterpart to every one of them.
Yeah,
Like,
classic right there. Yeah.
Right.
Everyone had their foil, like it was great stuff. All right. Moving on to the last question, and then we can decide at the end if we want to do BMD Nerds question or not. All right, so this one is, what's the best piece of writing advice you've ever received, and also the worst? Bringing it right back to Tony James on this one.
Good advice. Good storytelling. Good storytelling never gives you 4, only 2 + 2. I think I think a young writer, who develops a really kind of immersive, a fully detailed, realized world, I think they will want to try to give you exposition dumps and beat you over the head and explain how everything works, and not let the reader sort of ask questions and wonder about what this world is. So, just giving the reader 2 + 2 and letting them work it out. It's like, let them wonder about that mountain in the distance that's actually a car on fire, and like, before you explain it to them piecemeal, like let them hang out for a second and wonder about it. So I think that's been really helpful for me in because I do a lot of research for my stories, and that just kind of keeps me tethered to just not hold the reader's hand and just give them just enough so they're not confused as to what's going on.
I like that too. That's great. Yeah,
no, it's wonderful. No,
and I think the bad advice, I remember years back, a very smug NYU student who read my first script, he said, well, writing's hard, which is not helpful advice at all. But as I learned through studying story structure and reading all these books and writing more scripts, writing's not hard when you study the fundamentals and you practice them and you understand just all the different mechanics that it takes to make a truly compelling story stick in a reader's mind. And what I learned over time is that even the greats, they're not touched by God. They're just masters of those fundamentals.
Yep. Yeah, that's great, man. Great stuff. How about you, Nandor?
Yeah. So, the best writing advice that I've been given, and this is kind of pulled from a lot of different books that I've read on the topic, but the one that I always go back to that I think is just it never fails, and you can use it for everything that you work on, and it's the idea that your story will tell you like how it should be written, or like where it should go, and the characters will tell you how to write them, whereas you don't have to like force your story into a template later on, or like try to like put it in a box that it's trying to break out of. And I think it's really important to listen to your story in that way and listen to your characters in that way. And that's something that, I didn't know. And it's something that it's kind of hard to explain unless you are a writer, unless you tried to write something, because like a lot of people, I think, hear that and they go either they're like, duh, or which is a naive response, or they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like you should have everything planned out, right? Like everything should be like put down and regimented, and like it should all fall into place when you start writing it. And it's just a trap that you can fall in when you aren't engaged with your story, because if you're not in the process of working through it, and some writers work with the ending in mind, some writers will start at the beginning and the characters will tell them how they should end up and where they should fall in line. And I think it's really important to have as much planned as possible, but the joy of the work is like being on the adventure with the characters. And so if you're not listening to them and listening to your story, or you're like, well, it was like, I have to stick to the plan, like it has to go this way, you're doing your story a disservice, because if you're running into that friction, you should go with like the one that makes the most sense with where the characters are. You're just gonna like ruin your entire the pacing and the tone is going to be off, and all those things are just like it's going to look like a mishmash of things that shouldn't be together. So that would be like the best advice. And then like the worst advice is kind of honestly, I was like, no one's ever like come up to me or presented me with like terrible advice. It's more like advice I've seen around, or like advice that I think writers can take, and whether it's from people who seem to be more experienced, or I don't know, but like it's the idea that like the stories that you have to write have to be like palatable for the times, or like they have to be a part of the trend or a part of the algorithm, or like be a chaser, where like I'd rather be a leader. Like I'd rather have people like I'd rather set the trend rather than follow a trend. Right. And you're faced with this with every new story that you want to work on. You're faced with this decision where you have to decide, do I want to write something that is me, like that is like all of me, and that I want to write something that means a lot to me and that has my voice, or do I want to, I don't know, be a part of this crowd or do what everyone else is doing? And you're always facing those decisions, and it's something that I've had to reconcile with, because with every story that I'm about to start, I have to think like I could go this route or I could go that route. And sometimes, you can find the right balance, but a lot of the time, my favorite stories are the stories that are just unlike anything else. And so like those are the stories that I want to read, and those are the types of stories that, I want to make. And so I just think it's really harmful for writers to hear or to see, to try to like fall in line with what other people are doing. Whereas what makes you unique and what's going to make you stand out is that you are doing what you want to do, and you're not always looking to other people or other stories to find what works and what doesn't work.
I like that. Actually, I like that a lot, because I'm with you on that. I don't like to follow any kind of trends with what I'm writing.
Yeah.
My next book's gonna be like continuation of one I started back in like 2014.
Oh, cool.
It has like a little dealings with the multiverse, and back then no one was doing anything with multiverse.
Oh, yeah.
Now I feel like I'm chasing that trend, and I'm just like, it's not really the true thing. But
if you stay true to your creative heart, it'll set itself apart. And that's exactly
exactly.
kind of paraphrasing what Nandor said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
you got to make what you're most passionate about, you know?
Exactly. And it's a story I want to finish. So like,
Yeah.
I'm in for the long haul. I don't care if it gets compared to other things, but.
And then if you look at things like in history, like there are plenty of examples of things that are not appreciated in their time and then get their flowers later in life. Like The Thing. Like The Thing was like critically
John Carpenter's entire career.
Yeah, right. Like that made him quit making movies, and then now we consider it a classic.
But all his movies hit 10 years after, like Big Trouble, China, all that stuff.
It's doing a remake, right? Is there
What's
a remake?
that?
Is there a remake of The Thing coming out soon, or
It came out in 2012. It was pretty horrible.
It was like a prequel, more of a
it was a prequel. It was it was like
it was a lot of like CGI. It was
Anything you can point to and go, oh, that was so ahead of its time. That's exactly it. You know?
Oh yeah. That was when my son wanted to get into horror. That's what first thing I showed him was John Carpenter's The Thing, and he's like, "Oh, this is nice." And everything.
Did it work on him? I know the effects can be a little dated now, but they're still awesome.
He was 14, and like it was the next morning we woke up and he was getting ready for school. He's like, "Dad, that movie last night was really cool, wasn't it?" And I was like, the whole thing. I'm like, "You got it. He's in."
Did the blood the blood test scene get him?
Oh yeah,
that
no,
was
he was
always
just
like a good moment.
It was funny because it was that moment when they were all standing out in the winter, like all done up and just like standing around looking at each other, and they realize, oh, one of us is the thing. And I'm like, and this is the premise of Among Us.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, no, this is it.
What a great ending though that is too. And you don't know what's gonna happen, and I love that movie.
I got a theory. We can talk.
We just feel like he made that because that was something he was passionate about and he wanted to make that, regardless of what people were telling him to make at the time.
Yeah,
and that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
It's not about trends. It's about whether or not you.
And look at it now, like you said, Tony. It's a classic in every sense of the word. So awesome, man. Those are all great answers, guys. So before we go to the game, did you guys want to answer that one question from BMD Nerd, or would you rather do a twist on it and do like the best line you ever wrote, or I'll leave it up to you guys.
I have a funny question or a bizarre question.
Look who's back. Hey, there he is.
Hey,
what's going on?
Back in time, he was working on the
handsome demo.
Right.
But what are you going to ask,
Harry? What everyone's favorite font is, if they have one.
Favorite font? Comic Sans.
Yeah. Is it Papyrus or come on?
I'm partial to Wingdings.
I like good Cambria.
I write all of my newsletters in Times New Roman, or I don't know, Times News Roman. But yeah, I don't know. It's pleasing to the eyes for me.
So many years ago, like the creator of Helvetica died, and so I was working at my last job at the time, and I'm like, oh, what a weird thing to report. It's like a quick news blast, like, oh, the so and so, the creator of Helvetica died. I'm like, that's a very common font, it's like either that one or Arial that everyone uses, on their phone or whatever.
I can't even think of any of them.
So then I told my friend Kim at work, I just I enter bizarre things at work all the time. I'm like, hey, did you hear that the guy who invented Helvetica croaked? She's like, no. I'm like, yeah, he was survived by his wife Ariel, and they grew up together at the we wrote this like. It was like we did a whole paragraph. We went back and forth and wrote this like entire paragraph of Helvetica's obituary, and it was reported in the Times New Roman that he died, and he was survived by Ariel, and what else? I have it here somewhere. I have it on my phone, but we went back and forth, and it was like, I don't know. Pretty awesome.
Who said Harry wasn't a writer? Come on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's underselling himself over here.
I can read you a line or two. I think I have. Go ahead and answer the other question, but I'll find it. in a second.
Up to you guys. We don't have to do that question. I'll leave it up to you guys. I know it's sort of on the spot.
I'm gonna lock in on Arial as the favorite font. What's the question that we're proposing?
He was proposing what was the worst line you ever wrote, and then...
I've been thinking about that since he said that.
Probably in this Voltron story. Just wait, and it'll be in there. So hold on, DM nerd. It's coming. No.
It's a very writer thing. It's a very writer thing to like, the first thing I'm gonna say, that's probably gonna be garbage. So
absolutely.
Like trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah, you see,
I'm with you guys though. I don't feel like like I would have written some horrible stuff, but like I'm more like let's not remind people that we have written horrible stuff.
We're all works in progress.
Yeah,
writing is rewriting. Like we spend most of our time trying to figure out how to do a better version of the scene that we just wrote. So
and that's what it comes down to. So much of what we do comes down to the rewrite, that the bad lines never make it on the way out because we are editing ourselves, or we have brothers with way more hair than we do that like hey, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It is something that easily gets squashed out. But I mean, we all have stuff that we're not proud of. I mean, I'm sure if I could actually had a book of mine within arm's reach, I bet you I could find something in here that I don't like. But but that's just every writer's thing. But actually, it's funny because we were talking about the comic tropes. I know for a fact I did that, like over explaining with my.
No, I mean, I think it's totally fine. All right. So
what was I saying earlier about like the hardest part of comics being self-doubt? Everybody's like, I write the shittiest lines. Right? How's that for word salsa?
Yeah, right. All right. So Johnny. Oh, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but the self-doubt is why the books are good. Like,
I think so. It means you care about it. Like, honestly, that at the end of the day, that means you care about what you're putting out. Mm-hmm. If you didn't, you would just put it out and you wouldn't even have a care in the world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel like everybody does that. Like, so anybody that cares about their comic is going to
sometimes,
do that.
like it is the worst line on a Monday and then you read it on a Tuesday and it works. Like sometimes you need to get away from it, and or it might just be like one word that is ruining the line, and like this isn't working. And it's really strange how just moving a couple words around or taking one word out, can make or break a line. Yeah.
George,
back to Jerry Seinfeld again.
Oh, just building off of that, the number of things that I have improved by deleting stuff.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah.
Addition by subtraction, right?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, you can't say the line properly, or the worst part is like when you reuse too many words in the same paragraph.
Oh,
and you're trying to make that other sentence work with a different word, and it's not like kind of jiving.
Or you use a character's name too many times in a scene.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I see. I do this thing where I'll do the same phrase, like, "Hey, this is the third time that you've used that exact alliteration."
right.
Yeah, I will say there was that just jogged a memory. There was one writer who told me who had read some of my work, and he was kind of I don't know, disappointed, but he was critiquing it in a way where he was saying you're not using the names of the characters enough to like remember like their names. But I don't really agree with that because I mean it's a balance, okay? But like no one, if you know a character, if two characters know each other, they're not going to keep saying the name of the character over and over.
Yeah.
And I just personally for me, I found it to be a worthy challenge to try to find a way around that and make it so you can know the character's name, you can follow the character without having to sacrifice the authenticity of the dialogue just so you can have the character say the name over and over again.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that too. I always found it weird. Like,
like Lance, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah,
It's
right.
It's like
Brandon.
Why would you say that? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Lance, we've been brothers for 25 years.
Remember,
I don't like.
It's like wonderful, like Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's Brandon.
Harry, what were you gonna say?
I don't like how every alien speaks English. You know,
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah.
it needs
What's
to
up
be
with
a
that?
way. It needs to be a way to explain why we can understand them. You know, maybe if you have some kind of a device or something that you can translate.
Farscape always had the universal translator, which I always
Yeah,
thought was a
that's
good
fine.
device.
That's perfect. But not every alien speaks British.
Even
you know,
Star Trek, I think. Had
Yeah,
that
that's
too, right?
Trek Tech. That's just like
All of it.
all of and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that movie with Louis Gossett Jr. and
Tanner, you are so far away.
Is that Alien Mind?
yeah, at least he had he couldn't speak. He didn't speak English or American, whatever. He spoke like a weird alien language, and they had to
learn each other's
we
language.
don't
right.
speak English. Should we speak American?
Whatever. It's the universal, Spanish.
Well, no, they're very different.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there needs to be, if there's an explanation to how we can understand them, then that's good.
Well, that's what I always loved about it, the way that Doctor Who mitigated that with the TARDIS, being able to translate.
Being able to right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just like those little explanations that just make it work,
Right.
So Johnny, did you want to take over? Because I feel like we're at the Voltron portion of this episode.
Yes.
I figure we've done all the roundtable questions.
Yep.
So I'm kind of done with my portion.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's put all of our pieces together, right?
Okay.
So our writers, are you guys ready? Do you have your portions?
Yep.
Yes.
Does everybody
have,
know which lion they are and which number they are?
Dude.
Yeah.
Hey Johnny, do we have animation to go with this, or
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I got nothing. This is a writer's thing.
Use your imagination, people. Use your imagination.
Right. There you go.
Okay, so Johnny, you lead this one. Kick it
Yeah,
off.
I'm gonna reread the prompt from the top, and then I'm going to kick it to the first writer, and then you guys know their sequence from there, and then I'll finish it off at the end. Okay.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
Cool. So this is the Voltron writing prompt for the ICR Writers Roundtable. Lord Zarkon has issued Lotor and the Wicked Witch Hagar to coordinate attack on the planet Eris. They devise a plan to resurrect several defeated Robeasts into one massive new destructive creature to decimate and enslave the Erusian people. Princess Allura must call upon Voltron Force to come together and save the day. Calling on Voltron Force.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
And now, do we just go in the order?
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
so start with Tony.
Yep.
All right. So Hunk. All right. So I'm going to read this as Hunk.
Yes. That's the game plan.
All right.
Everybody should follow suit.
All right. All right. So I'm Hunk. All right. So we're basically beating up a giant space stew made of angry robot parts. Cool. I say we aim for the glowy bits. Why is it always glowy bits? Glowy bits are never good. And then Hunk pokes the glowy bit, steps back, and gives it a look like he's reconsidering his entire life.
Okay.
That's a very video game answer, Tony.
Yeah.
The glowy
I play a lot of
bits.
video games,
Yes. No, I love it.
All right, Nandor, you're up.
Man, mine's a lot more. I don't know. Like, I'll just read it. So
Just read it. No,
yeah.
different parts come together.
Yeah. All right. So make sure I have this right. Yeah. A storm is on the horizon. Lance responds to an urgent call from a princess in distress. Princess Allura, the Blue Lion reporting in. Eris will not fall this day. Initiating Voltron Force combination sequence 2 alongside Yellow Lion. Charging up my freeze ray should be at your disposal in 3, 2, 1. On your mark and at the ready, Voltron Force. We can slow down the Ultra Beast with my ray to give us time for a fatal blow as we unite. I will defend my friends in this world until my final breath.
Yes,
I
I love that.
Great, man.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Like, Travis. All right, George, you're up.
I don't want to go anymore.
Got it. Come on, we need a left leg.
Yeah. We need
With
a left
hair
leg to
flowing
hobble
with
into battle.
with hair flowing majestically. Pidge, the left arm, unleashes a blinding fast sequence of strikes. The roe beast will stagger backwards. When it regains its focus, it will notice just in time to see the green lion's left arm lariat crash into the roe beast's throat and start crashing it backwards.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah, that very leaned into the D&D part of this.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that. Yeah. All right, Travis.
All right, I put the red lion swoops down into the fight. Its crimson mane clicking into position. Zarkon's ultra beast must be stopped. Pidge, form blazing sword. And red and green clash, and with blinding light, the forked edges of the blazing sword form.
Nice.
All right,
And
I like
so
that
I was
too.
gonna
All these were
finish
great.
it off with a thunderous strike to the heart core of the ultra roe beast. It explodes in a boom of light, leaving behind Voltron, defender of the universe, standing mighty and victorious.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as totally cohesive as I had hoped, only because some of you guys came in with Voltron already formed, and some of you were kind of like part of the formation. But overall, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
I got psyched at the end.
I thought everybody wrote a good chapter there.
But my point of all of this, right, and the reason why I asked you guys if you wanted to work in the industry is that when that opportunity comes knocking, and I think we've said it, it's been said here already, you don't always get to choose the one you have in your pocket, right? The character that you want to play with, the character that you already have that story here. Sometimes you have to come in with something you don't know about.
Yeah.
With that anime character that it sounds like somebody sneezed. You know what I mean? where when the opportunity comes, it's not something you're familiar with, and you have to sometimes go outside of your comfort zone to then now ultimately achieve your dream of working for a larger company, right?
Jesus, Johnny, that was very deep. It's like the ending of Doogie Howser.
Cue the music.
Well, yeah, and I think I honestly like with every word that's been written, if we were to it'd be cool to put all of our pieces together and then just like edit it or streamline it to where it all like fits, and that would be really cool to see like how it all comes together. But
we'll kick Tanner some money to do a page.
Yes.
Yeah,
that'd be so cool.
That would be fun.
Cool. Yeah.
That would be real fun, actually. The other thing we kind of sort of did was at the sorry, Travis, go on.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that's what we mean, BMD. That the magic's in the rewrite. You know what I mean? That's
right.
You got your first draft right there.
Yeah,
I like that game, Johnny. I feel like you got something good there. Like,
you know what it is? It's sketch off for writers.
Yeah, it's good though,
right?
Oh,
and the other thing we just did the writers' room format that I talked about at the top of the Brandon Bloxdorf show. Right, everybody, we all kind of came together in one thing. Everybody got their assignment, and we all came together. Now, obviously, we wouldn't go live with a mismatched thing, but everybody brought their pieces together. You see how that works? TV writers' room.
Another way you could do a game like this, like the writers thing. Like Johnny, you could start off like 2 sentences about whatever, like a superhero or something. Kick it to Tony. Tony's got to continue the story from where you left off. Then Nandor's going to pick it up where Tony leaves off. That kind of thing. That could be kind of fun.
I was thinking about kind of doing it that way, even though that kind of like feels more like telephone. Where this, I wanted everybody to kind of have their separate components and see how they came together. Exactly, like see how a team could come together in that regard. So
could also do like a Rashomon style thing. Just try to retell the same
thing from different perspectives.
Yeah.
I think if I do that game again, Tony, it'll be that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So this has all just been a 3-hour long pitch for Johnny to do a DM, a Voltron D&D game. That's what it is.
Thank you guys for satisfying my Voltron.
Yeah, he's like, this works. This really works.
These are my guys. These are my guys. This is what we're gonna do.
And sort of my last portion of the night, I want to give you guys props for coming on the show and share the campaign here for everybody and stuff that, promote you guys for definitely some of our favorite guests to ever come on the show here.
Thank you guys for taking the time out of your nights. Thank you for
absolutely.
going under the pressure of this my silly game.
It was fun.
Thanks for hosting. I always love
absolutely
hanging out with you guys.
Tony, take it away. Give us the elevator pitch for Star Noir.
All right, it's Star Noir. There's 3 books in the series. We've got about like 15 pages left of this 3rd book here. So it'll be done before you know it. So yeah, we did very well. You can always late pledge it. There is the pledge to catch up is the 6th Extinction. That's how you jump in. So it's a 1940s murder mystery with aliens. This homicide detective teams up with this gray alien to stop a shapeshifter who's killing the detective's fellow officers in Central Station. The shapeshifter is impersonating one of the officers. So it's you got a little bit of McCarthyism going on, trying to figure out which one is the actual alien. And there's a lot of red herrings in the mix. Yeah, this 3rd book that we're working on is really exciting. It has really kind of jaw-dropping ending to the 3rd. The 2nd one has a jaw-dropping ending, but the 3rd one I would go like, no, that one's gonna make the ending of the 2nd one feel like Child's Play. So
okay,
it's
a nice tease.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and yeah, I can't. I'm on the cusp of announcing a Western that I've been working on quietly for some time. So that'll see the light of day very shortly. I showed Johnny some stuff, texted him some stuff. But yeah, I'll get to that soon enough.
Very cool. So Star Noir, I think I put it in the description of the video, but I can also put it here as well for people to check out.
Yeah, and they should. I've read both books, and I can't wait for my 3rd book. So
I'm glad you're digging it. Yeah, just many a sleepless nights trying to make sure every stitch of this is good. Because the thing is, like, when people love it as much as they do, it really puts the pressure on. Like, you really want the subsequent issues to really top what came before. Because if you have a misstep, then you kind of feel like it's over.
Totally. And I've been seeing some of the fan art that people have been doing, and that's like so cool to see that. And there really seems like you've built a really great audience, around the book and around the characters, which is difficult to do. Like, it's difficult to get people invested, but that's really the cool thing about doing multiple books in a series too, is like you're able to like grow with the characters as the audience and see like how that changes over time, which is always really fun.
Right, and build on the previous issue and kind of steamroll your book and your audience. Yeah.
And I have more new readers now off of this 3rd campaign than I've had since the series started, which is crazy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so that's Star Noir, and then now we're moving into the seasons, which this is looking pretty cool too. Nandor, you want to take it over from here?
Yeah. Thanks, Keith. So yeah, this is going to be a campaign that I'll be launching soon, hopefully by the end of the summer or like early fall is what I'm kind of planning on. But this is a series that I've been working on for a really long time, and I've sold out of my hardcovers for volumes 1 and 2. And so before we get to volume 3, I wanted to do another campaign to do a reprint for seasons volumes 1 and 2 for the trade paperback editions. And so both books are going to be over 100 pages each. And, the gorgeous black and white artwork by Anthony Gonzalez Clark. And it follows Fletcher through 1 year of his life. And with each passing season, his abilities change. So it's a kind of a supernatural, grounded superhero story that is very character driven. And it was the first book that I ever put out, volume 1. And so it's, excuse me, it's really cool to, after all this time, to get back to it. We're bringing new covers. We'll have some variant covers that we're announcing soon for both volumes. And this is all kind of the laying down the groundwork and the red carpet for volume 3, which has been long awaited for a few years now. So I'm trying to, get my entire fan base, people who've read Man-Child, The Fabled Offering, Lifeline, all these people, and get them into seasons. So that's going to be really my next big launch and kind of my flagship series moving forward.
That's awesome. I gotta say, I love the premise of a guy whose powers change every season. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's and he, it's a complete, like, it's one story, but with each volume, with each arc, the characters, overcoming like a physical or emotional obstacle, like whether it be an antagonist or something that he's dealing with emotionally. And there's a lot of like play with, themes and metaphor and the kind of like supernatural entities and things that he faces. So it's kind of a trippy, fever dreamish type of book, but it's all meant to kind of relate to the struggles that we all face and how those things can be overcome and what you need to grow and change to find like a meaningful life. And so Fletcher is like in this in this time in his life, in this specific year, where he is just dealing with everything, from left and right and trying to find himself. So it's a dark book at the start, and the hope is by the end of the story, we'll see some light at the end of the tunnel.
Gotcha. I like those kind of stories too, like where you start in like a bad place and eventually bring the character into a nicer place.
You want to see a character succeed, right? Like
Exactly.
you want to see someone triumph, and but it doesn't mean that he won't lose things along the way. So
right. Yeah,
what I love about just looking at this art, it's like there's nothing. I don't
here. It's incredible.
Yeah, what I love about something like seeing a book like this is just like I don't know anything else that like looks like this, so it has this very kind of uniqueness to it that I think is really impressive. Nandor, you're gonna work in the mainstream. I've said this to like multiple people. It's like it's just a matter of time for you. You've got the right mindset. You've got the skill. Like it's just like the stuff that you're making now is very promising, but the stuff like that you'll make in your 30s, I'm very excited for.
And just think about when they come to ask you to write a Voltron comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll know everything.
Which is only
I'll be
a matter
like,
of time now. It's just
You're already ready.
I'm primed and ready. But yeah, I do want, please people like sign up. I'm trying to get to as many followers as possible before we launch. And this is I'm gonna make everything very affordable. Everything's gonna be, like easy to catch up with. And I'm dying to get these volumes because I've been sold out for a while and I miss my books. I miss like having them and selling them at shows and stuff. So, it's something that I'm really, really looking forward to bringing back and getting people, because when I first started making comics, this was like the way I kind of introduced myself to the indie community. And a lot of people are just now finding out about it. And so kind of giving this book and this series a reintroduction to me, kind of breathing new life into it has been really exciting. And we've already been working on the art for volume 3. And so like that's, been really exciting. Anthony's just been getting better and better with every year, that he's been working on the book. So it's been really cool to see his evolution as well.
Yeah, that's he's a great artist. Yeah, and I always find too, Nandor, even my oldest comic still will sell at different shows.
Yeah.
Like, there's always like going to be somebody that hasn't read it, So
exactly.
It's always good to keep this stuff in stock. All right, that's great. I pasted the link in the chat, and I think it's in the description. I'll check tomorrow, make sure all these links are active for people to check out. So sign up for seasons volume 1 and 2. All right. Let's see. Moving on. George, tell us a little bit about Vampires on Mars.
Yeah. Later this summer, we're going to be launching the final issue of this series. So Nandor and I might be launch buddies.
Heck yeah.
Come the time. Yeah. Vampires on Mars. Billionaire wants to be the first person to send astronauts to Mars, realizes humans can't actually survive the trip, And so he's got one move left to ensure he wins the race to the Red Planet. So it's a sci-fi horror dark comedy about what happens when you sell your humanity for success.
Okay, I like that. I love the title too.
You guys,
I have always appreciated titles that are basically like, "Are you in or are you out?"
Yeah, right.
Right. You know,
really good.
And so I even appreciate someone who's like, "That's not for me." I'm like, "Cool, enjoy." You know, but the number of times people have like stopped, read the titles, like, "What is this about?" I'm like, "Exactly. That's what we want." It's
great,
so good.
man.
I mentioned him earlier. Fernando Pinto is the artist on this and co-creator of it. Ellie Wright on colors, Justin Birch on letters, James Emmett editing it. And yeah,
Great covers,
something that I am beyond thrilled that this is how we're landing the plane.
Surge.
I have been holding on to these covers for like close to 2 years.
No shit. Okay.
And so to finally get them out there, and something we've been doing is offering metal covers of these, and
that's cool.
They have been coming out gorgeous, and I think these 3 covers specifically are gonna just look amazing as metal covers.
As a curious creator, like, what does it cost per copy for like a metal cover? Is it
so?
Like
I'm working with Ready Comics on these, and they're $11.50 plus shipping, and that's just
not bad.
There's no bulk pricing, so I just offer all of the covers, and whoever orders it, and then I order them.
Are you gonna have a couple at any of the conventions?
I think I have one left over from the first issue because they are as expensive as they are. I don't have a.
I just wanted to see what the quality.
Oh yeah, I've got 1 or 2 left over from the first campaign, so I can absolutely show it to you. Everybody's colors are just been amazing on all of these covers, and they really come out. They like really shine on these metal covers. And as Tony was talking, a couple weeks ago, I finished up shipping out the 3rd issue, and there is, we started talking about validation. There is a lot of validation in doing a series and seeing the same names show up, over and over and over again. And then on top of people who just find out and they jump all the way in, and grab those catch-up tiers. It is very validating, again, because we've got our heads down for so long.
Right.
And we're making the thing we want to make, but we also have no fucking idea if anybody else will like it.
Right. If anyone else cares. Yeah.
Right.
Anyone else?
Yeah, exactly. So it's that real life tangible, like I said, validation that, that people are digging it, and because they're coming back. So that's
absolutely. So everyone check out Vampires on Mars. I'm gonna put the link in the chat there.
That reminds me of I read something in a book once where it was like, be like being a writer is fighting off that voice in your head that says no one cares.
Yeah, right. It kind of is. It really is. So sign up for this one. And what were you going to say, George?
I was just going to say, now I'm seeing all the threads kind of coming together. We were talking about, chasing trends, not chasing trends. Like especially at this level, like this is our hearts are pushing this stuff through.
Yeah.
And like at this, I feel like you have to follow the muse, the story that you want to tell, that you have to tell, because there's a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money, no promise whatsoever that anybody else is going to dig it or find it or, and all of that.
Right.
So, the worst case scenario is at least you have the book you wanted to read.
Yeah, right.
First is like, I chased the trend and nobody cares.
Right. And you're gambling that other people want to read that story as well. Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yeah, and
you
I
got to
think-
write for yourself, and then if
Yeah.
other people like it, cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think apologies if I think somebody kind of alluded to it. I think the reader can tell when your heart's in the book.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
when they can tell that you're passionate about it, that you know that you care, that your energy's into it.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, I think everyone here tonight is into it because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, absolutely. All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
perfect.
readers can sniff out the truth. They really can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And then this is Brass from the Ogle brothers. Did you both
Yeah.
you guys, or Travis, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, and Tanner apologizes because apparently his computer was just
Tell him
how it couldn't handle all this awesomeness on one. It was just falling apart.
Not many computers can, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, but we're not on the Kickstarter thing with this one. We actually went full live with this on April 15th, so it is for sale
awesome.
right now on TannerTogle.com. It's our latest it's our latest project that we have out. The first 2 issues of Brass, which follows a mainland reporter who goes to an artist's unveiling on a remote Alaskan island and finds a town that's plagued by disappearances. That's all linked to a living brass statue that has a twisted Midas touch. So this is the first 2 parts of a 4-part mini series that we have coming out. We are expecting the second half to go on sale in July.
Awesome.
But it's got my writing, Tanner's amazing pencils, inks, coloring, lettering. He does it all. He's a Swiss Army knife of a comic creator, and I love the hell out of him. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with it
And
here
there's
and
some of
getting it
the
out.
other books as well.
Yeah, we can't keep Lightkeeper. We keep running out of it because everyone just loves to buy that one right off the shelf. And I would also note that we are also currently involved in this other project that I'm really excited about. It's one of my personal, favorite claims to fame, which we've just entered into the Gleason verse, baby. All right.
Oh, okay.
So right
Yeah.
now, Indiegogo, we're talking the Mascots number 10 triple size
Nice.
anniversary issue.
That's
All
right.
right.
These guys did a backup story
Yeah.
for me, and it came out awesome.
Personally, I recommend the perks with the breakfast brawlers. I think they're pretty awesome. So check that out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no,
that.
and it's exciting to get involved in that. But yeah, no, we have our book out. We're excited to get this new book coming out with that back issues here in issue 10, and we're getting involved doing things.
Yeah, I love it. And Brass is good. I've read 1 and 2. It's a nice horror mystery. It's
Yeah.
and it's
We're in
like
our monster era.
but it's like the island thing. It also invokes like what's that movie? Burning Man. The one that they made the terrible Nicolas Cage remake.
Oh, the bees,
Wicker Man.
Wicker
Wicker
Man,
Man.
yeah.
It has that Wicker Man kind of vibe to it.
Okay.
Which is
No, for
kinda
sure.
cool.
Definitely get a lot of like a little midnight mass and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
a little midnight
Island
mass too. I can see
community,
that.
get
Yeah.
that like Castle Rock feel to it.
Yeah.
Just a small, remote Alaskan, self-sufficient community. It's definitely a character piece. It's a lot of this is my 3rd full project working in comics now, coming from prose, so it's a lot of just trying to find that nice craft. Lightkeeper was my visual storytelling project where I think I had 2 lines in the whole thing. This was my really wanting to delve into that character writing that is kind of where I like to be.
Where you
That's
shine.
my spot. Yeah. So this
yeah.
was running an ensemble cast in a book and really using that economy of storytelling, to kind of make sure you love all these characters while simultaneously maybe killing a few off in a brutal yet cinematic fashion.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love a good monster story?
All right.
Yeah.
And I just want to feature my shamelessness here too. My Kid Switch pre-launch page is up as well. This is for issues 1 and 2. If you guys want to get notified, maybe George and Nandor, you guys got stuff coming out this fall. Maybe we can partner up and
Cross promo. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Definitely.
It's good to see you on a Kickstarter. Keith.
I know. You said that to me on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try it again.
Cool.
And
Now, is this like an all new project, or is this an older one that?
Yeah.
you're
So
bringing back?
I did number 1 back in like 2013, 2014.
Okay.
And it's meant to be a 4-issue miniseries, but what happened was Mascots kind of took off after it.
Yeah.
So I kind of put everything aside and went with that. But now that I'm in a position where I don't have to, keep to a publishing schedule, I was like, let me go back and finish that. I hate leaving things unfinished.
Yeah.
This is my favorite book of Keith's, more so than Mascots.
Cool concept, You've been talking about it for ages. I'm excited to see it get to work.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess a little bit on the variation of like a Ben 10 thing. I always loved the kid superhero. Like I always loved like Billy Batson or or like Damian Wayne. Like I love like characters like that. And
reminds me of Tech Jacket.
Tech Jacket, yeah, like that kind of variation.
Turbo Teen.
But it's like a kid who finds a glove that belongs to these beings called Dimensioneers, and their whole job is to go into alternate dimensions and put things back that don't belong. So like Bigfoot is something that does not belong in our dimension, but we see it, and, it's like one of those kind of stories.
Yeah.
So cool.
And then Nintendo's kicking themselves. They didn't come up with this.
Yeah.
Power Glove,
right? We wanted the Power Glove to be exactly. Yeah.
These are some of this is the cover of number 1, and then like this was a pinup that was done by John Mills, who's like an incredible artist. And this was I don't know if you guys know Frankie B. Washington. He did as well.
Yeah, his stuff's great.
Yeah, so this is the villain, Commander Skullguard, and this is
great
a
name.
Robot admin, the admin robot. But I love this pinup because like you could see like all the energy is showing like alternate realities and stuff.
Great detail.
Yeah, so it's like really good stuff. So I'd say check it out if you're into the teen superheroes, and it's a really fun sci-fi adventure. So
yeah, I just signed up, man. That's
thanks,
awesome,
man. Appreciate that. I'm gonna put that in the chat as well for everybody. So like I said, you guys, we should definitely team up, and with all of us having Kickstarters coming up, maybe we can cross-pollinate each other's audiences and stuff,
Absolutely.
Inform the head.
Yeah.
Now we've brought it all full circle.
We definitely did.
Coming together.
That was the one thing we missed because some of you guys had it formed and some of you guys hadn't formed yet. So we missed the I'll form the head.
No, I see what's good is that Hunk was over here like he's already in the fray of it while we're all forming together behind. He's coming to catch up. We got this.
Yeah, right.
We just needed that other scene to like pop in here and make it happen. We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I know everyone's kind of tired. We kind of went a little long tonight, but I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Anything else you guys want to add? You want to shout out any social medias or anything like that, or?
No. I'll be at Brooklyn Comic Con next month. So
nice. Okay.
Sweet.
Nandor, George, Travis, anyone want to shout out?
Anything? I mean, thank you guys for having us here, and thank you, Johnny, for the awesome prompt for sure.
Thanks for indulging me.
All the answers were great tonight too. Like,
I feel like I'm obligated to plug for Tanner because he can't.
Yeah,
speak.
go for it.
So
thank you guys for taking the time.
Oh, hey, absolutely. Yeah. So it's catch our stuff on TannerTOgle.com and our Instagram, TannerTOgle at Instagram, and I'm at Travis.T or .D. Ogle. You remember your own initials.
You're at .G, D actually.
Yeah, D.
Right there.
It's D. For danger.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at T/J or on Instagram at BananaBat.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can find me at Nandor Fox, at Nandor Fox Shaffer, like on X and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And I do have a couple of other books that I'm in that will be coming out this year. So some anthology projects that I have. So You know, while and Man-Child issue 3 will be out this summer as well. That'll be printed and shipped to backers. So people, you know, get ready for that. So there's some exciting things on the horizon, and I'll be updating everyone there. I highly would appreciate people signing up for my newsletter, my Substack. I'm really pushing that. I've been doing a new series actually on there about creating seasons and creating my first comic, and all of the steps that I took to make it, with the things I learned through creating my first book and the things that I wish I would have known, and what it's like to world build and create characters and all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in kind of the process and maybe how I work and the behind the scenes of seasons in particular, follow my newsletter, and you'll be able to see some cool behind the scenes stuff that you can't find anywhere else.
That's awesome. Also, you have some good hot takes on like Star Wars.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I'm always, you know, I try to dip my toes into some pop culture conversations, you know, but yeah, it's challenging sometimes because you don't want to, like, you know, ruffle too many feathers, but you just want to have a good time. So
yeah,
so you feel that Greedo shot first is what
yes.
How about you, George? And you want to shout out your social media?
If you want to learn more about the comics, homelesscomics.com. You can go there, and there's a link that you can download free previews of my entire catalog. I'm hanging out over at Blue Sky these days at George W. O'Connor. And then I too am in the Substack world at George O'Connor at substack.com. And it's kind of a look behind the curtain of what it's like to juggle being a parent, working, creating, being a musician, and everything I'm kind of learning along the way. And I'm overdue, so I'll probably be putting out a new newsletter this week, which is cool because I have new artwork from 2 projects to share.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I gotta find your Substack off the.
I love George's newsletter. It's like a letter
Thank
from a friend.
Awesome.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, no, awesome. All right, cool. Johnny, Harry, anything else you guys want to shout out?
I got nothing this week. I got nothing.
Okay.
But fun show tonight. You know, I like you know, listening to everyone's answers, and it's you know, fun. We should do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to try to make this an annual thing. Maybe May, like this year, you know, or something.
Yeah, ton of fun. Such a great concept. I've been stoked about it since you guys mentioned it. When we saw each other at whatever convention it was. We do so fucking many.
I know. Yeah. Johnny, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying you can find me watching Voltron episodes in about 15 minutes. And big thank you to all you guys for taking the time out of your night to come on, participate, share your knowledge, your expertise, and your wisdom as writers for all of us. Unfiltered.
Yeah, love that. All right, everybody, we're going to end this one. We are off next week. We're back on our regular schedule. So we'll be live again in 2 weeks. Like, subscribe, share as always. And most importantly, read some comics, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have a great night, and we will talk to you later. Good night.